What's up, everyone? Sorry, just grabbing a little snack. I'm sorry if you're not in the ASMR videos, but I do have a refreshing light dill pickle spear right here, and I'm gonna finish the last bite right now. So good, so good. Wash it down with a little bit of water. How's everyone doing tonight? What's up, B. Edwards? First, again, you gotta be top of the charts right now. Absinthe, welcome. Hype for GitHub Actions. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll give you a little backstory as we get a little bit farther along tonight. I'm not that hype for GitHub Actions, but maybe it'll be fine. Maybe, maybe all the things that I've been afraid of, maybe they'll go away. Let's see, let's tilt this a little bit. All right. What's up, rollers? How you doing today? What's up, crapples? How you doing, L? Welcome lot, sir. Absolutely. Thanks for coming through. Thank you so much, Absinthe, for the tier 1 sub. Also, Zosam, I don't know if Zosam's on today, but I think I have my I think my donations thing is not pinging me. So Zosam gave a very significant donation. As you can see, he's in the last donated column, donation column right there on the bottom right. I want to thank you for that because I don't know what's wrong with the donation thing. I'm very sorry that I missed that. That is a big help, and I really genuinely appreciate the kindness. Appreciate what you're doing here. Oh, dope. That's for GitHub Actions. We're using Jenkins in my day job. Yeah. So we used CI, we used Circle CI at my job. Well, we used Jenkins. I've used Jenkins plenty of times. We went to Travis, and then we ultimately ended up with Circle. So we'll talk about a lot of that stuff. I think all of the CI tools nowadays are really pretty darn good. And you can really get a lot done with them. So tonight, we're going to be diving into, actually, I'll give you my little backstory right now. So, it's a very short backstory. I don't even know, I'm acting like it's a big thing, but I've tried GitHub Actions 3 times before. I tried it when it very first came out, and I had a lot of trouble with it, but I was trying to implement a pretty complex workflow, and it was a big undertaking for no reason. It was already difficult to get that workflow up and running. I think we had that one in Circle CI, and so it was tough. It was missing some features that I really thought that I needed at the time, which they've since added for sure. So it's definitely come a long way. And then I tried it again for a smaller project, and I could not get it to work. I can't remember what it was for. Whatever it was, I think I was trying to, whatever it was, I was delivering like a specific type of artifact, and like I couldn't find it on the system. Like the system could never, it would build it and then it would be non-existent. Like it would build the thing and then it just wouldn't be there, and I could not figure out how to do anything with it. At the time, there was no way to kind of SSH into that build process or see, really dig in without having to put in probe statements and stuff, and it got to be really annoying. So that didn't work for me. My current usage of both academy.mastermind.io and mastermind.io are using, no, they're not. They were using GitHub Actions for a bit. They are not. They're using Circle because I was having some trouble. Even though it's a simple process, like it's just a Hugo build and it just does some simple HTML testing and sticks them into an S3 bucket. But I also had some issues with that. I got it to work. I didn't get it to work, but I had some issues with that. Part of it came from my lack of understanding of how GitHub Actions worked. But I've done, I've checked it out since then. I haven't built any pipelines with it, at all. And so, we've touched it. I've looked at it a bunch, I've seen a lot of things about it. I think I understand how it works. And I think it'll be better to approach it today. And I think, I think we can do something. Today is going to be, we're going to be building a pretty simple pipeline to start, and we'll see what happens with it. Maybe I just want personal GitHub PRs against my own personal to run. Yeah. No, that's not bad at all. I think that's completely fine. Like, use it for what you use it for. I think that's a really good thing to do. Just have it run a linter automatically, do some basic testing for you. What's up, Uncle Bill? How are you doing today? Good to have you. What's up, Jumpman 408? It's good to have you here as well. So tonight will not be a 4-hour stream, so I apologize for the 4.5-hour stream. So first off, if you're looking for the 4-hour stream for Monday, that will go up. That I tried to upload that last night, and I actually attempted to update it to upload it today along with yesterday's decoded session so that it will be available for everyone. The problem is I made a change to how my videos are recorded. The file sizes are much larger, so the render out file size for Monday's session is 20 gigs, and my upload speeds aren't amazing. And like even the decoded session from yesterday is still like 14 or 15 gigs. So I started to upload it pretty early this morning, actually, earlier today. And before we started to stream, they still weren't done. So I actually had to cancel it. Had to cancel the upload because it was taking up all of my upload bandwidth. And so my office does in fact have very fast upload speeds, like 400 to 500 gigs up. So I'm gonna take it in the office tomorrow morning and I will upload them then. And I guess that's gonna have to be my workflow to take it into the office, just because the file sizes are so much larger. But yeah, what's up, Maryland Trodev? I mean, it's probably not Maryland, but MD Trodev, how are you doing today? Okay. Yeah, it's 400 gigs. It's pretty impressive. I was super hyped to see it. It's actually a little bit more than the download is sometimes. All right, so tonight, let me get you all the slides. Let's get over to we might have to use the whiteboard tonight. I haven't used the whiteboard since I changed my setup, but hopefully should be pretty fine. Let's get over to the Academy view and let's get into Drive and get you all the slides first. Let's open this in a new window so that we have a little chat window just sitting out here for us to chat in over here. And I need to rename, yeah, this is pipelines part 4. And let's change that and let's share it. Get you the link. Copy link, done. All right, go back over to here. Commands. I'm definitely getting used to this keyboard laptop, this laptop keyboard, sorry. I'm getting better at it. I'm definitely getting better at it. I'm getting more comfortable with it, getting used to it again. Edit slides, there we go. Okay, so that's how you can get that. Had to drop out early on Monday. Where did you end at the tail end with working VM or Docker? So the Vagrant image worked for the front end. Actually works for the back end too. It just wasn't pointed at the back end. The Vagrant image was working when I tried it last. But the Docker Compose image was not, and it wasn't specifically because of Mongo, not because we couldn't get the applications running, but because of the Mongo container itself. Someone did put in a PR for this, so we do have a PR. I commented on it today because it will work, so we might actually utilize it tonight. It needs a little bit of work though, because we need to make some of the things a little more dynamic. But yeah, that's there. Let's see. That should be shared. I'm going to present it and we're going to get started right now again, so that we have no more 4-hour streams. Hopefully no more 3-hour streams either. Hopefully 2.5 hours max. So tonight, the scope of what we're doing is pretty small. I like to focus. I like nights where we get to focus in on a specific concept. So let's hit the button. Pipelines, a journey into software delivery, automation, and infrastructure. You are in day 4 of 6. After today, you will officially be done with 25% of the course. So, you know, we're getting there. Just take your time. We're getting there. So today's concepts, today's topics, the thing I want you to focus on today is to understand, do your best to understand the CI/CD process. So we're gonna learn continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. It's a really big concept when we're talking about DevOps and infrastructure and SRE. Big concept here. Not all that, like, the high level concept is not all that complicated at all. The ethos and the different strategies you can use to build this stuff can get pretty complicated, but the topic itself is fairly simple, and the goal is to come out of here today with an understanding of that. So we're going to understand CI/CD, CD, and then we're going to set up a basic pipeline with GitHub Actions. We are going to take, we're at work. Our devs are going to be coming in. I do have environments for you. So if you do want to see different environments, you can go to pipelines.media. That's production. We do have development.pipelines.media, and we do have staging.pipelines.media. So we actually do have some environments today that we can work on. So if one of you wants to log into staging or something and make a content item just to show that the data sets are different, I might have to, one of them's probably down, but we'll get it up once we get to the point where we're actually deploying stuff. You can probably get to it, but it'll probably give you Nginx error, but we'll hop in there and we'll take care of that. So let the games begin, or as the the well-renowned Bane says, let me get something on the table. I don't have a mask, but I can't do it. Let the games begin. No, let me try again. No, I can't do it. I thought I could do it. I really thought I could do it. In my head, I could sound just like Bane, but I can't. Let the games begin. Nope. I'm gonna practice. I always wanted to do voices, and that was I've never practiced, and that was my first foray into voiceovers right there, and into trying to sound like other people. And I will practice now so that next time it hits like I want it to hit. So number 1, integrate, deliver, and deploy continuously. That is the goal of CI/CD, and now we're ready to talk about what all of that even means. So CI/CD. CI stands for continuous integration. The first CD stands for continuous delivery. That's really the term right there. That's really the goal is CI/CD is usually how it's talked about. That last CD isn't really necessary, but we'll talk about what that means. But the CI process is designed to help with some common developer problems. So what are some common dev problems? Well, common dev problem is that Dave is on vacation. How the heck do we do this again? So a lot of places you have a lot of institutional knowledge. You have a lot of tribal knowledge about the applications, people who hold the information about what to do in different situations. And so these are things like, we forgot to run the tests. We know that we have them. We forgot the process to running the tests. Documentation. We never contributed anything to the documentation, and now the documentation is stale. And just general development processes can be pretty tough to understand. There can be a lot of steps. They can be, complicated steps that make decisions based on, different outcomes. So it can all be pretty tough. And our goal with continuous integration is to start to solve some of those problems. So I think it's best to talk about continuous integration when you talk about what the problems that it solves. So continuous integration is the process that you follow to know how the things that you built, how do you know that your stuff still works? That is what continuous integration is there to provide you. That's the benefit it's there to provide you. So what continuous integration commonly provides, and this is not what it has to provide, this is what it commonly provides, automated testing. So what is automated testing? When you are writing code, when you are developing code, you can write more code to ensure that the code that you wrote is doing what you intended it to do, maybe not, or what it's supposed to do. You can write code to ensure that it works, and you can run this code, you can reuse this code and run this code over and over again to ensure that as you make updates to the code base, that things are still doing what you expect them to do. So it allows for automated testing so that you don't have to keep doing it yourself. Common vulnerability scanning. So, security is very, very important nowadays. So a lot of the times, we're using Node right now for these applications, and, Node has huge dependency problems, and it's pulling in packages from all over the place, and you don't have a lot of control over that. And so being able to know what packages and things have vulnerabilities, is really helpful. And being able to discover vulnerabilities in your code, in your system early, really does help. And sending things to developer environments. So removing the manual nature of getting code from one environment or one machine to another is kind of what happens in the continuous integration phase. It's what it helps with. Now there's tons of little things in here, and we're gonna hop into them as we're building some stuff out. Common dev problem, mastermind is gone. How do we run that build? Yeah. Well, no, that's what CI/CD is for. You shouldn't have to, honestly, the developer, if you want to make it's a debate, but a lot of times you can make it so that the developer has no idea. Maybe not that they don't need to have any idea how any of it gets anywhere. Whether or not that's beneficial to the system is debatable. I tend to think that that is not. But that's what a lot of people have you do, is to build these pipelines, to build these processes and workflows to, you know, make sure that developers can develop as fast as they want to. But you know, I think there's some benefit to having people have that intimate knowledge of systems and the way that they work. But you know, there's pros and cons of all this stuff all day. What's up, strategist? How are you doing today? Managed Chaos, thank you. What's up, man? Welcome to the channel tonight. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub as well. Thank you so much for the support. This is really funny because we're talking about we're doing GitHub Actions. I still haven't checked out your GitHub Actions course, so you all, I will try to share into the actually, can you send me your I think you did it for, I think you just said you did a course for Linda maybe, or LinkedIn Learning, about GitHub Actions. Send that my way and I will link that for people to check out in the resources channel, or you can link it in the resources channel of the Discord. So if you ! Discord, you can do it. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. You know, we're gonna hop back into it tonight, but that's continuous integration. So this is what a pipeline might look like. And so this course is called Pipelines, and the term pipelines is something that we always talk about in this field. And again, what is a pipeline? A pipeline is designed to get something, to get, you know, whether it be water, whether it be people, whether it be whatever, from one point, take it through a process and get it to an endpoint. And that is what we're doing here. And so a pipeline might look something like this. And this is actually a screenshot from Circle CI actually. And you can kind of get a pipeline. You can get a little diagram like this from any of the services. But you can see over on the left, we have a build phase where basically it's going to take the code that you wrote, you know, so actually, hold on, let me see. Maybe we'll talk about, let's do that. Okay, the build phase. Usually when you write code, to be able to deploy that code, there generally needs to be some type of artifact that comes out of that. Generally, not always. Or I guess there is, but it's handled in different ways. But there generally needs to be something that comes out of that, or things need to be built before the application can really do anything. So the first step is to build it and build it automatically. So you set up a stage in the pipeline to go ahead and take your code and build it up to the point where now you can execute things against it. It is in a workable state. So that's what will happen there. So this could be, you know, if you are using a compiled language, this might be where your application actually gets compiled, and we're making sure that that happens successfully. If you are running, you know, your applications in Docker, maybe this is the point where it's actually building these things into a Docker image, and kind of testing those and setting those things up. The tests come next. So you know, each step in this pipeline has to pass. So you see these checks. And generally you'll set this up so that if something does fail at any stage, it will not continue in the pipeline. Why do you want to do that? It's so that you don't, that you can find problems early, and that when problems are found, that, you know, the development process is halted basically, and it has to be remedied. It needs to be remedied. And so this ensures that nothing bad, well, maybe not nothing, but you can catch a lot of bad things before they get into an environment or get to somewhere where they shouldn't be, where other people can find them. And so after maybe you do the little bit of building, then you do some testing. And so again, this is that running the testing of this code. So we have Node.js applications here. And so I think there are some Jest tests maybe, or maybe some Mocha tests in here right now. I did not write any of them. They're already in the repositories, and I think some of them don't work. So we'll have to handle that, but it's fine. We'll test that and see what's going on. But ideally, you would write code to test specific things in your application to give you enough information to be confident that your application is still working. You can have a number of different test suites, a number of different types of tests, and this is probably the most important piece of the CI process, is the testing piece, and the automated testing piece, and making sure things are working and functioning as they should. That, if you do testing right, it'll tell you a lot. It'll make you much more confident in your application. It'll make your life much easier if you can really get that testing portion down. And then usually from there, it goes into some type of a deployment phase where you'll get it out somewhere, or delivery phase where you will push those artifacts out to a certain place. So this is just a little pipeline. We'll see many more diagrams like this. We'll draw one, and we'll see what this looks like as we get to building one. One thing I do want to talk about is parallel building. Specifically, this is done in the testing phases of things, but these CI tools, you'll start to see that these CI tools are really they're almost kind of just test runners. Script runners. They almost kind of just kick off scripts for you, really. They do have a lot of features and a lot of paradigms which make these pipelines easier to create, but at the end of the day, they're kind of simple, to be honest. But they have this framework of being able to do things in parallel. So maybe you do have a bunch of different test suites. So maybe up top we can see, maybe we set up a pipeline that's completely linear. Maybe over here, where there's no box, maybe that's where we did the build. And once we build the application, we begin to run our tests against it. So maybe after the build step, it says, great, build step's done, move on to test A. Moves on to test A. Test A takes around 5 minutes to complete, and it says, great, test A went well, let's move on to test B. And test B goes great, moves on to test C. So to get through all three of the testing phases, it takes about 15 minutes to do so. And so if there's something wrong with your code, let's say something fails in test B, once it fails, it probably took about 7.5 minutes for it to fail. Now, the developer has to take time to discover the error, troubleshoot it, put in a fix, and then they have to wait 7.5 more minutes at least before they find out if now the thing that they did resolve this. There's ways that they should know this, but it's not always true. They should be running these tests on their machine before they're pushing, but every system is different. But that's very time consuming. Down here, they have some paradigms here of being able to run all these test series in tandem. So we've got the thing built, and now we can run all of our test suites against it, which is really cool. So it saves a lot of time being able to set things up in this way. And you can also see over here on the left, we have this thing called cache dependencies. And again, I'm using terminology that's straight from Circle CI, but this concept is available in every CI tool that I know of. But being able to, if you're doing lots of builds per day, where I worked before, we were pushing, we were doing hundreds of builds a day, just a small team of, maybe 3 or 4 developers were doing hundreds of builds per day. And being able to cache your dependencies, cache things that haven't changed, is very nice, and it allows for you to save a lot of time, because you don't need to be rebuilding and reprocessing things that aren't changing. So just a little concept I wanted to throw your way about being able to run some things in parallel during these pipelines. So if you have things like different types of tests that you're running, you can run them all together, and you can create a pass-fail scenario based on those things, and it can save you a lot of time. Being able to save a bunch of time in these build pipelines is surprisingly important as you get to bigger organizations with longer and longer build cycles. You might work on a project where your build times are 8 or 9 minutes, and then maybe this isn't that important that you really optimize them, but you might work somewhere where build times take many hours, and so you may need to make sure you're doing some stuff like this. I have a Circle CI headache I want to ask later. Absolutely, keep it in mind and shoot it my way. Sorry for the question, but I was wondering, what is the main difference between Jenkins and Circle CI? I get used to Jenkins, but if Circle has something new, I wouldn't mind to use it. So they're just different CI tools with a different ethos. I think that Circle CI was designed with modern applications in mind. Jenkins has been around for a long time, and it really is a can do everything tool, but it can be pretty verbose and tough to use. The paradigm of Circle CI, same thing with GitHub Actions that you'll see tonight, very similar paradigm. Container based, yeah, they're container-based build processes, and they try to make it as easy as possible for you to kind of get up and running. And so they just have a different approach. I think the best tool depends on the project that you're trying to build. I think if you're just doing something quick, or you have a small project for yourself, GitHub Actions or Circle CI is the way that I would go. I would have a hard time advising to implement Jenkins in any non enterprise scenario, but also I haven't used Jenkins in a long time, so I'm sure Jenkins has come out with a lot of things to make it better for modern applications, or easier to use with modern applications. But in my experience, and I've had a lot of experience with Jenkins, it is very heavy and non-ideal for today's workloads. But yeah. Okay, so continuous integration. Continuous integration is simply, getting that, continuously integrating the code as developers finish up features, finish up code, getting it together, testing it, making sure it still works, scanning it for vulnerabilities and things like that, and possibly sending it somewhere. Possibly. And there's a little star next to there. I wasn't going to include that, but I do include it, and we'll talk about why in a second. So that's the first piece. Continuously integrating code, automatically continues integrating code back into the code base. Now, that's the CI. The CD is the delivery of something. Okay, so this is the how do people use my code. So the first part is how do we know my code still works, and then continuous delivery is the portion where we confirm how people can use my code. So the common paradigm is to, one, trigger a build. So how do you trigger a build? There's a couple different ways to do it, depending on what you're using. There's webhooks. So there's ways for these tools to watch your GitHub repository and wait for commits to go into GitHub. And there's integrations and things. And once they see the code has been updated, they will take over from there. So that will trigger a build. So generally, maybe you have a branch, maybe you have, maybe you say, hey, anytime code is pushed to a branch that starts with the word feature, we're going to automatically build it and run through this test suite. And so as long as there's a branch that starts with the word feature, as long as your developers are writing and the stuff tagged properly or branched properly, when they push code up, it will trigger a build. The tool will catch on to that. It'll say, hey, great, I see some updates were made. I'm gonna go ahead and check out all this code, run all of my tests, do everything that you told me to do, and just run through the pipeline that you've begun to create. So we'll trigger the build. We'll rerun all of our tests. Notice we say rerun all the tests here. As your developers are developing, they should have the ability to run these tests themselves to kind of confirm as well. But here's where you build the application artifacts. So I don't want you to be confused here. Build was the first part over here. This build is different from right here, it being number 3 in building application artifacts. So application artifacts are going to be the final formats that your application is going to be deployed via. So again, it could be a zip file. Maybe it's just a zip file of all the files that are necessary. Maybe it's a Docker image or a VM image. Maybe you did some kind of Vagrant imaging, or maybe you built an Amazon machine image or something like that. It's going to be the final format that this needs to be deployed in. Maybe your initial build did that, like maybe it built that thing as well. But after it runs all the tests, it'll say, cool, this code is good to go. As far as I can tell, this code is good to go. It passes all of my checks. I'm going to go ahead now and package it all up and get it ready for you to use it. And then, so once it does that, it puts it somewhere. And that's the delivery. Just like the guy throwing the TV over the fence, that is the delivery. Put it somewhere and walk away, okay? And why do we say walk away? Because this is where the continuous delivery stops. This is where people get pretty confused, but this is where continuous delivery stops. Continuous delivery does not mean it's out into the world. It doesn't have to be deployed anywhere. You trigger the build, you do your testing around it, you build your artifact, you build a thing that's going to be deployable, and then you put it somewhere. You stick it somewhere for it to be eventually deployed. Maybe it's an S3 bucket, maybe it's some hard drive somewhere, maybe it's some data store. stick it somewhere, and walk away. That's the end of continuous delivery. Once you've done that, you've delivered code. Okay, so I want you to think back. This is a journey into software delivery. Okay, so that is delivering software. You can usually control how much and how fast you deliver software. You can't always control when it's going to be deployed. Why can't you always control that? Because sometimes, you know, you're waiting for the stakeholders and you're waiting for the product owners and the companies to, you know, maybe we have to wait for a product release. Maybe we have to wait for something else internally to happen. Maybe there's some, you know, internal red tape that needs to, you know, get taken care of before this code can be pushed. So this is the end game right here, is to deliver the code. Okay, put it somewhere and be able to walk away. So maybe getting it up into a container image repository or something like that is kind of what you want to do, and that is continuous delivery. So continuous integration is, how do I know my code still works? Being able to, you know, as we integrate new code into the main code base, how are we confident? How can we be confident that this code still works? And again, that's running tests against it. That's automated testing. That's automated vulnerability scanning, things like that. And beginning to build these things. And then the delivery portion of it is, you know, during that build pipeline, you know, triggering what you need, and building an end artifact, again, zip file, Docker image, VM image, AMI, whatever, and putting it somewhere where it can be eventually used. All right, and then the last CD is continuous deployment. You'll usually only see CI and CD, but the last one is continuous deployment, and this is how do we update the actual website. So this is after the delivery, you've delivered the usable code. Now is where you actually deploy those artifacts out somewhere. You're actually deploying the containers based on the image. You're putting the files where they need to be, where they can be accessed by people whoever is going to be accessing those environments. That's what the deployment piece of this is. Now, this is the ultimate holy grail of software development. It's not an easy task to do. Why is it not an easy task to do? One, depending on your application makeup, it can be tough to update code that people or applications that people are currently using. That's one. Two is, again, some of those other things of the red tape of when you can deploy things and what is allowed to be out when. There's a lot of times the timeline of the application team will not match up with the timeline of the stakeholders and the people who are making the decisions about their product. So it can be pretty interesting. When you can get here, it helps you, you know, to stop being afraid of updating code, fixing bugs, and of trying new things. It really is, you know, if you can achieve this, it really is it's very freeing, because a lot of places deployments take a very long time, and they're a big deal. A lot of places, you know, hey, it's all hands on deck to do this deployment. It's all hands on deck to get this update out. And you know, you got to shut things down, and it's really complicated. If you can get to this place where you don't have to do any of this stuff manually, where the code and everything works through the pipeline as you set it up, you know, the code is committed, it's put into the right places, and as long as the code is tagged properly or branched properly, it goes through, all the right checks are done, you know, all the stuff is scanned, everything is good to go, the artifacts are built, the artifacts are put where they need to be, and then those artifacts, once they're placed out where they need to be, are actually deployed out into the systems where you don't have to do anything else. It is really nice. And I know that might sound crazy to some of you, but it's not at all. It's not. There's absolutely, you can absolutely set up deployment patterns where, you know, you simply, you know, when things get merged into master, you know, once you're ready to merge it into master says, cool, I got it, I'll take care of the whole thing, and stuff goes out to prod, no problem. But again, it all depends on your application makeup. So did we need CD twice? No, not really. continuous delivery sounds scary, but this is usually, you know, when they talk about CI/CD, a lot of people convolute the two Ds at the end there, but we didn't really need CD twice, and you don't have to go all in. Everyone tries to go all in on their CI/CD process, and you don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. Just build trust first. Build trust in your process. Keep it simple. Start with a simple automated piece, and build from there. You don't have to do it all at once. And just keep improving over time. And so I want to make that last point clear, because one, we're going to start doing that tonight, because our system's going to improve over the next, you know, this is going to take us 25% of the way through the course. We have 75% of time left. So, you know, imagine we're just getting into the company. Our first iteration of this pipeline is going to be meh. It's going to be, you know, it's going to work. Whether or not it's going to make us incredibly confident, and whether or not we're going to be able to build incredible trust into our deployment process, is maybe debatable. Maybe we'll build a little bit. Maybe we'll add 10% of trust to ourselves, but we'll make our lives a little bit easier. And so if you are working at an organization who is trying to implement CI/CD and trying to find your way with CI/CD, again, I think that last line is great. Build the trust first, slowly build the trust, you know, add in some automation here, start, you know, at the beginning of the pipeline, start, you know, creating the pipeline slowly, build some trust in each of those steps, and keep improving on it, and you'll be where you want to be before you know it. So Ammonia Flowers, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you. So we're building machines today rather than containers. No, we're not going to be building machines rather than containers. We aren't building. It's a very interesting question. And so we could build machines if that was what our artifact was going to be. If, let's say, you know, we're in AWS right now. Let's say we decided that was going to be our artifact. Our artifact was going to be building an AMI, an Amazon Machine Image, and that was our deployable piece of thing. That artifact is what we would deploy. Then yeah, we could be building machines, but I don't think we're going to do that today. I don't think that's how we're going to do it, just because I don't think that's the normal. I don't think that's the common paradigm for a number of reasons. Generally, you're building code artifacts, so we don't really have our code artifacts for a node project in the way that we have it. You know, we could do a zip file or something, but to keep it simple for tonight, it's probably simply going to be the files themselves, and we'll probably be moving along the files themselves, like the actual application code that's in GitHub itself. But we'll see how that works. Let's see. Off topic. I was doing the conduit example from last week when I run it. Logos. I get this. Yes. So great question, Sin City. That is because the backend, either one of two reasons. You need to check I'll show you the file in the root of the front end. I think there's an app no, that's the back end. In source, there's an agents.js file, I think, and it has a URL for the back end. I'll find the file, but it has a URL for the backend. You are either not pointed at the right backend, or the backend you're pointed at is broken. And so it does give that error, and I'll show you how to fix that, because we'll have to fix it today for sure. So CI/CD tools and vendors, there are a bunch of them. GitHub Actions is what we're going to use tonight. Like I said, I've had poor luck with GitHub Actions, and we're really flying into this. I'm definitely not blind, for sure not blind. I understand how GitHub Actions works. I understand a little bit more on how they do things. So I'm confident that we'll be able to get some stuff done with this tonight. Jenkins here in the middle. If you're trying to figure out what CI/CD tool to kind of begin to learn, Jenkins is tried and true. Jenkins is the oldest of the tools, the most mature. It has a super robust and mature like plugins architecture. You can get anything done in Jenkins, but it can be pretty verbose. You got to write things, you know, in Groovy. It can get a little bit complicated, but that gives you flexibility though. If you need to do things that are, some custom builds and things like that, like if you have things that you really need to get done, Jenkins may allow you to do that easier than some of the other tools. Circle CI they've grown really fast, really cool tool. Again, the ethos is a little bit different. Like Jenkins, you can write these Jenkins files, you can write Groovy, you can, a lot of stuff you can do. Circle CI basically relies on YAML, as do Travis, as do GitHub Actions. They basically rely on YAML. And you provide instructions via these YAML files, and they kind of work that way. Again, it's a container build process. I don't think you can build, when I say container building processes, I don't mean you can only build containers on these platforms. I mean that the workloads are done in containers. And I guess most places are probably like that now. Like even Jenkins Cloud is probably done. I don't even know if Jenkins Cloud is called Jenkins Cloud, but I'm sure they have some cloud service to do that. But they're container-based workloads. But yeah, just a different approach. Definitely just a different approach. Yeah, I think the problem with Jenkins, I think the biggest problem with Jenkins is that originally I came from the side of having to manage the Jenkins servers and the underlying Jenkins configuration and systems. And I find dealing with the JVM and to be exhausting. It's never super easy to do upgrades and things, at least in my experience. Yeah, and most of these other things, like any software you self-host, is usually pretty darn annoying, especially one as important as Jenkins. So I think if we had a self-host Circle or something like that, I may have the same disdain for it. But all of these kind of came around the cloud time, and everything was already, in the cloud already, and so you didn't need to do any of that. So it just seemed super duper easy. Travis is very similar to Circle. A lot of open source projects use Travis CI. Azure Pipelines, I've never used it, but it is Azure's CI offering. And AWS CodeStar is AWS's offering. CodeStar actually refers to a collection of services and not a single service. But yeah, they got a bunch of stuff in here, and that there we go. Oh yeah, and see, I feel bad about that actually, but GitLab has a whole CI process. So I think we talked about GitLab during the Git course at least, but if you want to circumvent all these different tools, and you want to be able to build a CI process, a full CI process in a single step, or in a single place, GitLab will allow you to do that. And yes, Amazon's CodeStar is very similar to something like GitLab's CI process. I've never set up a full CI pipeline here, but yeah, they have a full like CI/CD pipeline where you can take everything from your code and commit it and take it through the testing, and get it out into the environments that it needs to be in. I have heard good things about Azure Pipeline. So Ammonia Flows, like, you're not the first person at all to tell me that you did enjoy Azure Pipelines. Can add Jenkins CI to release? Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't used Jenkins in years, and I don't plan on using it, to be honest. For a while, but there's nothing wrong with it. There's just a preference thing. You get a little bit jaded, and new things come out, and so far these new tools have served their purpose for me, so I feel like there's no reason to switch back or anything like that now. So but I will say, don't wreck your brain trying to choose the right tool to learn so that you can get a job. Once you can understand the concepts in one of the tools, you can apply them to all of them. You really can apply them to any of them. The concepts are pretty standard across the board. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think that's it for the slides, which is perfect timing. This gives us an hour and 15 minutes to try to build a pipeline. Excuse me. Which I hope we can do, especially since I'm not super well versed in GitHub Actions. But let's draw a little diagram really quick. Let's see if we can. Is our whiteboard working? Our whiteboard does appear to be working today. And let's draw a little pipeline diagram of what would happen with Conduit. So our application right now, let's get this sitting right here. And we are setting up a little pipeline for our application Conduit. And Conduit has 3 pieces. Let's draw a little package here. That is awful. That is an awful package. How do I switch to the eraser? Come on, we gotta do better than that. We gotta draw at least almost a nice little square. Almost, you know, you can have rounded corners, but like it's gotta be close. All right, and so I'm actually gonna put GitHub here. And so this is the repository in GitHub. This is the thing that exists right now. And inside of here, we have the front end. We have the back end. And we actually have Nginx. We have all these things inside of in GitHub, inside of the repository. These are the things we have. So code will be updated in these things. Now, again, I want to be clear. If you're someone who already knows a bit about CI/CD and how some of this stuff works, our setup right now is very odd. Maybe not very odd, but we have we kind of have a monolith here, as you know, a monorepo at least, maybe not a monolith, but a monorepo where all the applications exist inside of one repo. This raises some concerns with, or not concerns, but some things we need to be wary about during the CI process. But I don't think we have to worry about that right now. But our goal is to take these things, and as something is updated, so let's say, you know, add a commit. When a commit is added, we want to be able to take that and we want to be able to run automated test. So this is generally the first thing that we want to do is, you know, as code is added into GitHub, and really this arrow should go over here. We want to take it through and we want to add, we want to be able to run automated tests on these things. And that's how you should start your workflow. And so you might say, hey, like, I don't know anything about testing. You don't need to know anything about testing right now. Like I said, there's already testing in at least one of these repos. We don't need to dive into testing tonight. Testing is probably, I'm not even joking, we might do an entire it might actually be a journey. We might actually do a testing journey and not an excursion, because testing gets really deep. So right now we're specifically talking about automated testing. So again, these different languages have different frameworks, different tooling to allow you to write code that validates other code, that validates other functions and pieces of code to make sure it's doing what you expect it to be doing. But then there's way more pieces of testing you still have to do. You know, we can talk about the unit testing, we can talk about the integration testing, whether or not integration testing goes here, or how does integration testing fit into it versus unit testing. We could talk about, you know, our actual manual testing. We could talk about there's so many different testing methods, and there's so many different strategies around testing. It really could be its own thing. And I don't even want to get into, like, I don't even want to go down the line. There's just going to be some basic automated tests that are going to be running here. I hope the tests actually work. If they don't work, which I fully expect that they don't for some reason, we'll still be able to include it in the pipeline. Does the commit tool watch for specific branches for running its tests? Great question. Absolutely. You have all of the power here. So these tools allow you to check for lots of things. You can say, hey, I only want you to build things when they're pushed to the master branch. Or you can have completely different pipelines. The pipeline that you can create a different pipeline for the master branch than you have for any other branch. You can say, hey, build any branch that gets pushed, build and test it. But if it's master branch, I want you to take it and do these extra things and deploy it here. If it's staging, I want you to do these things and deploy it here. So you have that functionality, you have that ability to be able to take different actions based on whatever branch you want, whatever tag you want. And so a lot of this goes into some Git strategies. You all might want to go back and look at tracks a little bit. Maybe look at the second to last day. I think we talked a little bit about Git strategies and understanding how code, how code gets merged into master ultimately, or maybe not. Maybe you have a different workflow for that. But so this is kind of the first part that we want to do, and then usually after the tests are run, then the tests say, we got We got some green checks here, and maybe I should actually draw a green check because I do have, you know, I gotta, oh wait, too much. We got a green check mark, say everything is good. Maybe we'll just give it a little bit of give it a little Nike swoosh check. Yeah, everything's good here. And if the tests are good, then it will go to the build artifact stage. Maybe it'll build the artifacts, and then a lot of times from there you go to the delivery phase. And sometimes though, this stage is sometimes the same as the deployment stage. We said that you know, you put that artifact somewhere and walk away. Sometimes that place that you put it can be the final resting place for this code, so that would also include your deployment step right here, and that would be the end of our basic pipeline that we're going to set today. And that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to take this little loop and try to get to the delivery and deployment stage today, and let's see if we can get that done. I really think we can get there. So first, we got a couple things to do. First one, I want to show you. Again, you can go to pipelines.media if you want. And here's what we're going to do. I'm logged into pipelines.media. I'm going to make a new post really quick so that we know that this is production. This is production. So that you can see it. I'm going to tag it with production. I don't know why. But yeah, this is production. All right, so it's there. Now, if you all go to pipelines.media and go to the global feed, oh, actually, you can't see it. It's okay. It's all right. I caught it a little bit faster this time. Just a little bit faster. Now you can't see it. So if you go to pipelines.media, I said, hey, pipelines.media, this is the production page. If you head over to development.pipelines.media, let's put one here. Oh, it looks like we need to make some changes as well. This is going to be some of the exciting things. I'm actually really glad I didn't already change this for you. Notice how on development.pipelines.media and pipelines.media, we are getting back the same thing. But we learned a little bit about DNS. Maybe we didn't here, but we did in Decoded. But check this out. If I dig pipelines.media, I get this IP address 52.90.74.219. But if I were to dig development.pipelines.media, hold on. You can't dig subdomains, can you? Is it just gonna give me back the A record for or did I point them at the same place? Let's see. I don't think that's the case at all. Hold on. 1 segundo. We'll log into Amazon a second to ensure that they're not pointed at the same place. They should be pointed at different places at different servers. We could also use the IP address just to confirm. So I do have a development pipelines.media, which is 54.173.155.70. And pipelines.media, which is 52. Oh, are they different? I mean, were they different here? Oh, they were different here. I'm tripping. They were different here. They just look the same. I thought one was really different. But they are two different IP addresses. I'm tripping. But they're different IP addresses, so they do go to different places. But they are giving you the same data. The reason why they're giving you the same data is because both of them are using the same backend right now. We can log in really quick. We're gonna fix this really quick. So that they are not pointing at the same thing. Let's SSH cd documents, cd into documents, SSH -I pipelines Ubuntu at development.pipelines.media. Let's get logged in. I can't see the keyboard, even though I shouldn't need to. I can't see it. So in here, and so I think someone asked a question about this. I think Sin City, you asked a question about this. This is where it is. So if you go into Conduit, into the Conduit repo, this is the Conduit repo. I have no idea if this is up to date or not. But if I go into the front end, if I go on the front end and I take a look at source agent.js, in the source agent.js file, there is this right here. There's this API root. And right now it's pointed at pipelines.media. Everyone's probably pointed there because that's where I did it. But this is where, building out your CI pipeline starts to get tough. You have to find those places in the application that are dependent upon environment or dependent upon specific endpoints, and you have to make sure that those things are configurable. Okay, we're not gonna make this configurable right now. I just want to show you that it will go to a different place. So we'll send this to development.pipelines.media. And actually, I don't even think I have to restart this to get it to go to a different place, because it is okay. See, now no more does it say this is production, and we can make a post here saying that this is development. We can say, hey, this is development. This is development. And the tag here is going to be development. This is just so we can get a quick, eye test to see that we're in the right environment. Yes, we have the URL up here, but when we kind of see things, we want to make sure this is the development server. This is the production server, and there is a staging one as well. Let me get the staging one up so that we have our full suite of environments for us to work on. So let me just SSH into that as well. What happened here? There's my SSH command. The development. I just think in staging the services aren't started yet, but no problem. We'll fix that. Let's get logged in. We will vim conduit front end source agent.js. We will change this to staging pipelines.media, and we will go into conduit. I think I have to cd into, let's start the backend first. I can't remember how we started. Yes, I can. It is with PM2. RR. We want, this is the back end, so this one. All right. I think we're doing some stuff really quick. What's the variable for URL in the agent.js? I'll check that out. That's probably, I'll look at it in a second. That's probably, if you pass in, you can probably override this stock one with an environment variable, which that is a really good way to make things configurable, but I'll take a look at it in a second. Let me go into front end and start the front end app as well. Front end is on 4100. What is up? Let's see. Andre Ferrero, welcome to the channel. Day45, Pohi _ retro 230 or retro 0230, either one. Welcome to the channel as well. What's up, Shygon TV? Good to have you. Michael Dev, Nil 0616, Evaldo Felipe, welcome. Good to see everybody. How's everyone doing? What's up, Mr. Pentagills? How are we doing? We actually do a fun thing on our server that outputs a set of specific div in the page layout of its development server. Yeah, hi Patrick, absolutely. That is, that's absolutely a good thing to do. We generally do something like that as well. I mean, I'm used to that paradigm and doing something like that so that you can see very easily, what thing you're in. So PM2 list, it looks like everything is running. So now if we go to staging, pipelines.media. All right, so let's sign in real quick so that we know everything. A Brooks at mastermind.io. I'm doing pretty good. No, I can't not look at my keyboard when I'm typing in my password. But for everything else, I'm gonna try. Here we go. Not gonna look. New post. This is not Oz. This is staging. All right. Oh, I didn't make it caps. This is staging. Come on. Okay. This is staging. Man. And my mic's like all in the way too, so I can't even like easily look at my keyboard. It's pretty annoying. But okay. So now if you go to either development.pipelines.media or pipelines.media or staging.pipelines.media, you will know which one you are at as long as you're looking at the global feed. It will tell you that these are different environments with different data. They have different data resources. So today, we're not going to be worried about the data resources at all. We are simply going to be worried about the code. So we need to hop straight into it. So what does a deployment, first off, let's talk about what a deployment might look like. There's a number of different ways to do this. Let's go to GitHub really quick. And we are going to keep it very simple today. Right now, the way that we are running things, we are running things off of native. We're natively installing the libraries and everything that we need, and we are running them natively off of the system. Let's see. Not Brenton, but this is always my. I really dislike the way that you find things inside of GitHub. It's really annoying. Cool. I always have to go through like this to get here. So we have this repository, right? And we did a little bit of work. So let's see, there's this pull request in here. I don't want to merge it yet because it's going to actually mess up what we're trying to do, but I kind of want to merge it because it's nice. And it would help for local development. But the general workflow is, hey, you know, someone's gonna get some code here, and actually maybe we should have broken. Let's break development. Let's actually break development really quick. And what's master? Let's see what's in the front end. What is the front end code? Source agent.js, and right now everything is pointed at localhost. So for master, everything's already pointed at localhost, which is very interesting. So actually, if we go back and we do a git status, let's reset this. Let's get reset. Yeah, let's just git check out everything. I don't even want to reset. I'm just gonna I'm gonna check out this. Whoops. And I'm gonna git check out front end source agent. So this should break our development environment, okay? This should break it. Why should it break it? Because it's not set up properly in the master branch for these things to work. And so it's already broken. Very nice. Very, very nice. This is great. Okay. So maybe we decide, let's make some decisions here. Maybe we say, hey, the way that these things are deployed, maybe we're going to deploy them by branch. So maybe we're going to use, feature branches. Maybe not feature branch, but well, I guess we'll use feature branches. But let's say, hey, the development, everything flows up to master. And so maybe all of our development is done on the development branch. Okay, so for things to go out to the development server, they must be in the development branch. Okay, and so you make your feature branches and you get them merged into development to get them onto the development server. And then there's a staging branch that goes to staging, and then the master branch goes out to production. So we have right now we're seeing that staging's not working. Oh, was that the server that I was in? Maybe I was not. I wanted development to be fixed, but nope, to be broken, but it's okay. We will do staging instead, not a big deal. So staging is the one that is currently broken. So what might a deployment look like? Deployment might simply look like this. Let's say we are working off a conduit. I'm gonna get onto my local computer and not be on a server. So right now I'm on my local computer. I am a dev, okay? I'm a dev. I've come in to do all the things, and I'm gonna get started with making a change here. CD streams pipelines. All right, and I'm gonna go to conduit. All right, so I'm actually gonna do a git pull already up to date. Okay, this is the repo that we have, and I say, cool, I need to go in and make a change, but also like we need to be developing on this. We want to update staging. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna git checkout staging. I'm gonna make a dash which git checkout dash b staging. All right, so I'm gonna make a brand new staging branch. So now I'm no longer working off a master. I'm working off a staging. I should I should now also make a branch for whatever feature I'm trying to do. I'm not gonna do that right now just for time's sake, but we want to start to update this so that it does in fact work with staging. So we might say, all right, the staging branch, I want to be a little bit different. I want to make sure everything is right. So I'm gonna go into those files. Was it front end, source, agent, and I want to update, I don't need that. Maybe I just want to update this right here. And you know, if we're going to staging, then obviously we want to make sure this is going to staging.pipelines.media. Now, this is not the best way to do it right now, but to start, we're just going to get this working because I want to show you how you would deploy something. So we made this change. That's great. I think there was one more file that needed to change on the back end as well. I think in the app.js, and I think it was the Mongo URL, which we changed for our development environments, which I think needs to be localhost instead, pretty sure. So I think that's right. I think those are the two changes that need to be made. So we say, excellent. We've now made some changes to the code. I'm a developer. I did what I wanted to do. No, this is not Vagrant. We are not doing anything with Vagrant tonight. We do have Vagrant files in here, but we are not doing anything with Vagrant tonight. So we say, great. Everything is working how I want it to be working. You know, I've tested this locally and everything's good to go. That's what the developer is supposed to do. They've run their tests against it. Phenomenal. So the way that you might run your test is, I think in the back end here, for JavaScript, the frameworks that there's Mocha, there is Chai, there is, there's React, there's Jest. There's a bunch of different, not React, I don't know why I said React. There's Jest, but there's some tests in here, and usually there's a script setup. And I think there is a script setup here for npm test. Cypress is pretty dope, but Cypress is not, it's not JavaScript specific. But yes, for integration testing, Cypress is phenomenal. But see, a lot of stuff is failing, and it'll tell you why it's failing. These are mostly failing because these are testing the backend APIs, and these are not. I need to look at them. These aren't really unit tests. These are integration tests, from what I can see, and the way that they're built. And so they're actually relying on this thing running. I'm pretty sure. So I actually get this little thing that says, hey, I executed one iteration and nothing failed. But I did 31 requests and all 31 failed. Test scripts, I ran 29, but 12 failed, you know? And so I did 17 insertions and 17 of them failed. You can run through, you can see what happened, what's going on. You can see all that stuff, but we're not gonna worry about this right now. These are not tests that we wrote, but these tests are available. So what the workflow would normally be for an engineer is to write these tests, make these changes that I just made. And after they make these changes, so this is how most people work. Whether or not it's the right thing for you and your team is different, but you write what you're supposed to write. You write the feature that you're supposed to write. You make the changes you're supposed to write. Then you write code, you write tests to ensure that what you did is working. And I know it sounds weird, but yeah, then you write more code that ensures what you did is actually working, and that gets added to the testing suite. Sure, you can practice TDD and test-driven development where you actually write the tests first. So you actually write your tests first, and then you develop the code. Whether or not that's beneficial I think it's been shown that it's not measurably beneficial to do that, but I do think it's a solid paradigm for development, a good way to get your brain juices blowing. But that's what they would do. I will run the test, make sure everything's working well. Great, phenomenal. Let's imagine that instead of this saying test failed, it said 100% test pass. And I said, great, time to push my stuff up. And so I'll add app.js, and I will add in / front end. I could have just do it. Well, no, I don't want to do a dot because, all right, make sure they're green now. And I'll commit this, git commit -m, and I can say fixed connections for staging. All right, and then I'll push these up, -u origin staging. really got to put my key back on this computer. Really annoying. Okay, so push these things up. Now this code is in GitHub. It's in version control. It is in source control, and we can see that if we should go into here, come on, mouse. If we should go into here, we can see that there has been a staging update. So now there's a new branch called staging, and right now staging doesn't do anything specific at all. It doesn't do anything specific, but the goal is that staging branch will be the code that goes out to staging. So you know, the most rudimentary way would be, now I would take this code, and if we weren't using version control, or if we were and we had no automated way or no easy way of doing this, we would simply copy this stuff up. So I might, you know, use like SCP or something to copy these files up to the server. Okay, that is absolutely a way you could do it. That is not a way that you probably should do it, but it's absolutely a way to deploy things. On the other hand, why wouldn't we not just use Git? The tools in which we're using, again, we're not using containers, we're not using any type of compiled language that's going to give us some type of executable. We simply just need these files. As long as we can get these files on the server, our stuff should be able to run just fine. So the easiest way for us to do that now is, let's get logged back in to staging. We get logged into staging, and what we could do is, what just happened? It did not let me in. Oh, it didn't let me in because I'm in the wrong place. We'll log back into staging. Here's what we can do to make it easy. One way that you could deploy is you could just simply use Git to properly deploy. So I can go into Conduit and I can say, all right, staging right now. If I do git status, yes, we're on the master branch, but I know on this server I want to be running staging. So right now staging does not work, and so I can, you know, git checkout staging. Did not match any files. Git checkout origins. What was it? Origin/staging. Origin. What? I don't know what's going on here. Let me pull first. That's what I needed to do. I need to do a pull first, and then I can check out staging. All right, so this is going to give me a new branch now. So that code is now here on the system. So I was able to just basically get the code out from GitHub and get it onto the system. So now staging might be working again. And yes, staging is in fact working again. So it was that simple to deploy code. How did I deploy that code? I simply, as a developer, I modified the right code, I pushed it to the right branch, and then we used Git to get the files that we needed. But we simply got the stuff there. We simply got the stuff on the server, and it works great. Kind of boring, because it's a very simple deployment process. We basically just copy the files from one place to another. But sometimes that is all deployment is. It is getting files from one place to another after being tested, all the other stuff. So that's great. The problem is we would never be able to merge this code into master or the production branch or anything. If we did this in development first, it wouldn't work if we moved it up. Why? Because we hard coded values. Okay, we hard coded some values in here. What values did we hard code? We hard coded those URLs to connect to. Great, very exciting. Not the best, not a great way to do it. There's a bunch of options for us to fix that, but we're gonna wait to do that. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out a way. To do exactly what we just did, but through a pipeline. Setting up a pipeline to do the things that we want to do, and this is where GitHub Actions is gonna come in. My only question is what is the best way to handle secrets in your pipeline? We are going to be handling secrets tonight, so absolutely, since they aren't in version control and can be updated somewhat often. So GitHub Actions, I'll just show you right now where you can put secrets. I wouldn't say handle secrets. In GitHub Actions, you can actually put secrets in your settings of the repository. So it's actually a really cool secrets paradigm that exists right inside of GitHub, which is really nice. And so you can put this stuff right here. Phenomenal. And again, if anyone, I have very limited GitHub Actions. have a lot of CI/CD experience, very limited GitHub Actions experience. So if you know some cool things, throw it out there. Absolutely throw it out there. But you can put your secrets here, and you can have your you can have your pipeline grab these secrets when the pipeline runs. Now, the management of secrets is a completely different thing. The management of secrets being, rotation of secrets and getting secrets in here and things like that. There's probably some cool ways to do it. You probably, like, I know Terraform has some stuff you can use to control GitHub. Maybe there's some ways to do it with that, or I don't know. I don't know what the best way to actually manage your secrets is. But you can hold them here, so you can hide these secrets here. But is Vault a good, so yes, Vault is a good option for secrets management, but is it a good option for secrets management with GitHub Actions secrets? I'm not sure. And I in my mind, I don't see where the benefit would lie. But like, you just use Vault. Like, you just use Vault. But yeah, you just use Vault. But yes, Vault is phenomenal. I'm just, right now we're gonna stick to GitHub Actions for the evening at least. We'll get into some Vault. We'll get into some deeper secrets management as we get a little bit farther along in the course, because I also want to tell you, like, we're setting up a simple pipeline tonight. We're just setting up the scaffolding. We'll get the pipeline working so that as code is pushed, it'll automatically build and deploy. But this build process, it will get significantly heavier and more complicated as we go along, because we will be switching up a ton of stuff. Is there any chance you're going to upload the Kubernetes and Git videos on YouTube? I thought the Git ones were there. Absolutely. I forgot that I didn't do the Kubernetes ones. And I think I didn't do the Kubernetes ones simply because we didn't finish it yet. But yeah, I can upload those, no problem. I thought the Git ones were there. If they're not there, I can get those up, no problem. Let's see. If you use open source, you can have as many as you want. Yeah. Let's see. That was my question, the latter part. Appreciate the insight. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you can absolutely use Vault for sure. Vault's great. Okay, so we're just gonna use secrets tonight, most likely. But let's get started. So GitHub Actions, really nice. Integrated right into GitHub, so that's really great. So it should, I do like GitHub is doing its best to become what GitLab is right now, and giving you the tools to be able to do everything that you need right here. I both like that and don't like it at the same time, but for ease of teaching, I love that this stuff is here. That's why we're staying inside of GitHub Actions, inside of GitHub tonight. But what is it? It is a build tool. It is a CI tool. It uses YAML for you to describe jobs and workflows to be able to build out your pipeline. So you're going to use YAML to build out what happens when you push code. And so it's not that hard. It's really not that hard to understand if you take the time to look at a bunch of templates. I think it's a little bit weird at first. It's a little bit of an odd paradigm at first, but it's super easy to get started with. They also have these workflows already set up that you can grab. People can write workflows and put them in this little market. I don't remember what the market is called, but you can steal those. So like I just click this button here. We could start from, we are using Node.js. It knows that we're using Node.js, and it says, hey, you can start to set up a workflow. We have some custom built things for you that you can take to set things up. So if you just have a Node.js application and it's standard, you can click that button, and this will basically set this up for you, and you're kind of good to go. Now, we aren't going to use it like, I would use this as a frame of reference, something to take a look at. We don't need to do this because we'll just replace stuff and delete stuff. I'll basically be deleting everything from this file. But this file gets put into the repository. It gets sat into a hidden GitHub folder. This .github folder, workflows, and you can call it whatever you want to call it, I think, as long as it's in this workflows folder. And every time you push code to this repo with this file included, it will pick it up and it will perform whatever is in here. And so let's look at the anatomy of it a little bit. The anatomy of it, you don't have to edit it here. It is a file you can absolutely create from your desktop. You can absolutely create it from your desktop, but this is just GitHub's current editor right now. even though I do have access to code spaces. But this is just their editor, so you can get up and running very quickly. So let's take a look at it. A name. You need a name for this pipeline, this workflow, and so you just give it a name up top. Pretty simple. Remember, YAML, key value stores, not too complicated here. And then this is the section where you tell it what to do and when. So this right now, I think, is going to be only going to build when you do a release. Right now, the way it's set up, so you can actually do it when branches are updated, and you can specify the branches. That's what we'll do tonight. We'll do it on the push of a branch, but this right now is set up to when a release in GitHub is created. This is when it'll kick off. It'll only kick off in that paradigm. So we're going to change this up a little bit, and we can look at the documentation. I'm going to write what I know when I see it, but we'll have to look at the documentation a lot tonight. But on push, so it's going to be on push, and it's, oh, this is nice. It's giving me stuff. So we can say when someone pushes a branch, when someone pushes a tag, when someone does all kinds of stuff, you can select it. But we're gonna say when someone pushes a branch, we can update this. And I'm gonna put master in here. I'm gonna put I think this is how you do the list, staging, and I'm gonna put development. So for these 3 branches, as long it's only going to build when someone pushes to one of these 3 branches. Any other branch, it will not do any building on. And so you can get real granular with this. It does accept, I'm pretty sure it accepts regular expressions. So again, remember earlier I gave the example of like, hey, maybe we're only going to build when someone prefixes their stuff with feature branch, with feature, the word feature. You can do a little regex, feature dash star or something like that to make it really nice. But you can also make it like not on these branches. You can exclude certain branches, and you can make it tags, and you can make it all kinds of other things. And that is how we would switch up that line. I'm gonna change the name here, and I'll call this, I'll just call this conduit deploy or something like that. We'll just call it conduit deploy, whatever. So right now it should be set up for only on the master branch, staging branch, development branch. It'll go ahead and it will do something. Okay. So we'll keep it there. Any questions right now? Let's see. Best part is you can target any repo or branch tag. Yes, absolutely. No, it really is not. It's not that hard to pick up. One, I would say absolutely do not try to memorize the syntax of this stuff. What's nice about GitHub Actions is basically you can go. People have already built. Most likely, people have built an action for you to kind of steal from already. And like I said, they have a whole little marketplace or something for actions where you can go and you can just copy and paste the pieces that work for you. So they might have a job or some steps that do certain things, and you can go take those and apply it right to your stuff, which is super duper nice. And so you're basically just configuring what you want to happen. The hardest part about learning something like this is learning all the things you can do. Like it's just learning what's possible in this world. So yeah. So these are the 3 things we want to build on. So if I try to push at any branch other than these 3, it will not pick up, it will not build. It won't do any kind of builds or anything when I do that. YAML is tab or space sensitive. Yes, it is space. It is kind of like Python in that sense. Excuse me. It's super cool when you use matrix. Matrices are phenomenal. It's really good. When I found out about matrices, it was extra great. You can run your application on, you can have it build on multiple versions of a runtime all at once and test it against that. It's really cool. It's really nice. And it's really easy to do. It's super easy. Like if I just type in GitHub matrix example, it's super dope. It's like 3 lines. Well, no, that's not. I don't think that's what I wanted. GitHub Actions. That's what I wanted. Workflow syntax. And let's find matrix. That's not, well, we'll find it. We'll actually do it. Yeah, you set up a strategy. Where'd it go? You set up a little strategy and a matrix of different versions, and it'll do it all, it'll do it all in parallel, and it's super nice, super cool. And it's just it's a cool little thing there. So we have this, and that's the first part, the name, and then when do we build stuff and what do we build it for? You can have it built for all branches, completely fine for you to do a wild card, a star, something like that, completely fine. So that's what we do. Then we have jobs. Okay, so there are two pieces, they're two big pieces, and notice how they're all the way outdated. There's jobs here, and jobs have a couple different things. Here. We'll break that down a little bit, but the only other thing we're gonna find in here, oh, actually, interesting. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe GitHub Actions doesn't have this. Don't know. Remember, I'm pretty new to GitHub Actions. There's jobs, and then there's workflows, and so maybe I don't know if GitHub Actions has these. So jobs is setting up like the physical, tangible things that are going to happen. A job is a collection of steps that can happen, and and it does a certain thing. It's a job, and then you can make a workflow, which is a collection of jobs. I don't know if you can do that in GitHub. I don't know if you can do that in GitHub Actions. I don't know if that's the same paradigm. That's something that you can do in Circle CI. We will find out. But jobs, this job is called build. The first job here is just called build. And this is what it runs on. So this is the container that it runs on. It runs on Ubuntu latest. And these are the steps that it uses. And so this is where GitHub Actions, gets cool. These are the actual actions here. And so this is an action that allows it to check out the code that you wrote. So it's doing some stuff for this branch. This action says, hey, go ahead and check out this repository. And it goes in and does that. And then they're running some other things, npm CI test. They're just running some commands. There are other things that you can run. You can run bash stuff. But yeah, we'll break that down. We don't need all this stuff at all, but we will get there. Let's see. Oh, I missed a lot of your stuff. An action can't call another action with its GitHub token, but a secret can trigger another action. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Okay. So all I'm gonna do now is show you that this will get picked up. Let's do a runs on Ubuntu latest. Let's do a run, and let's simply do this. All we're gonna do is when this runs, we're gonna echo out, great job, it's building. And so, like I said, it's kind of just when you think about it, it's kind of just a script runner. We're going to delete all the rest of this stuff. I don't want any of the rest of this stuff right now because we don't need it. This is all boilerplate for something else that we just don't need. All right, and we'll do a little testing here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this to start a commit, and added GitHub action file or whatever. Great. So you can commit it right from here, which is super nice. So it's actually going to commit this into the actual repo. Now I want to be clear. If you go ahead and edit any file inside of if you commit any file inside of GitHub, then that means you don't have it locally on your computer. So you have to make sure you pull it down. So this got added in, and if I go to GitHub Actions, because this file is there, check this out. Automatically, this picked up and it began the pipeline. The pipeline started, but it only had one job. It had a single job, and that job was to build. Okay. And so I can go in here and I can see everything that it did. I can see that it, set up the job and it checked out the code and everything else. And then it ran the echo of great job, it's building. So it actually echoed this out for us. Great job, it's building. And it is in fact working. So you can see this check here, and this check means, hey, we have a working and running job. So we just started it off. Remember, start small, build trust. Start small, build trust. Okay, so that's all we did. Pretty simple. So watch what happens if I go back into the directory that I want to go into, which is over here, and I want to go into dot slash mastermind streams pipelines. And here, I want to go to conduit. I want to get checkout master. I'm going to do a git pull. All right, so this is in the master branch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new branch. Get checkout dash B, test branch. I'm going to call it test branch. I can't spell checkout because I can't spell. I spelled it wrong again. There we go. So now if I do a git, let's say I'm just gonna add a file in here. Maybe I'm gonna vim test.txt in this new branch. Let's type some stuff in here for no reason. And I'm gonna git add test.txt, git commit dash m added text.txt. Oh, test.txt, whatever. This is just for fun. No. And git push dash u test branch. Test, is that not what we called it? What do we call this? I'm on test. Origin test branch. And I push this up. When I push this up, it'll go there, and hopefully what we'll see is that GitHub Actions never starts a new build. We can go to our code over here. We can see that, hey, I pushed a new branch. Test branch just got pushed less than a minute ago. And if I go into GitHub Actions, there was no new workflow that ran. No new workflow, okay? Perfect. No new workflow that ran. But if I were to add that test.txt to staging or to prod, and so let's do that really quick. Let me get check out staging. I'm muddying up this repo so bad, but oh well, we're all right. So I'm gonna touch. Now I'm gonna vim it. Test. Get commit. Actually, get status. I don't want to do AM because that vagrant thing is here, and I'm too lazy to add a. I'm too lazy to add a git ignore, as you all have seen before. Git commit. Come on. Dash M. Added test file. Git push. All right. This is the staging branch. And because this is the staging branch, we should see a brand new GitHub Actions thing kick off. I just pushed to staging, just had an update. And if I head over to Actions, it should have, and it did not kick off a, oh, never mind. That was dumb. I'm a little bit, sometimes I'm not, I'm not all the way there. The reason why this did not work, the reason why this didn't work is because, this staging branch does not have this file. It does not have the GitHub, the workflow file. Why doesn't it have the GitHub workflow file? Because we put that in the master branch. When we edited it in here, it's in the master branch. It is not yet in the staging branch. How can we get that? There's a bunch of different ways we can get it. Let's use some Git stuff. Let's do Git. We already pulled master. Can we rebase? What happens if we rebase? Rewinding. Git checkout master. Interesting. And in here, let me just make sure that Git hub workflows. Good. It's there in master. So Git checkout staging. Git LG. Oh, I don't have Git LG installed on here. All right, 1 second. Let me what is here? .git hub. Okay, it's here. Now it's here. If I do a git status, I rebased. I got a force push. Git push -F. Come on, spell it right. Okay, I think that'll fix it. I think we'll find out. Yeah, there we go. I'm the man. I can't be stopped. I'm the greatest Git worker that ever. No, I probably did everything wrong right there, but we did achieve our goal here. And so I just got that file into the staging branch. So generally what you want to do is properly branch your things and have a proper workflow, which we did not do, but a file was added. And now every time we push to staging, it will go ahead and it will do what it's supposed to do. It does actually break things. It's gonna break some stuff because we have to update, but it ran the job. It ran what we told it to run. And again, what we told it to run is this very simple thing. We said, hey, GitHub workflows. We said, all right, when we push to master or staging or development, the jobs that I want you to do is I want you to use Ubuntu latest. So I want you to use Ubuntu latest as your base operating system, your base image. And I want you to use the GitHub action, the checkout action to check out the code. And I want you to set up Node on it. I want you to set up Node version 12, which is interesting because we're actually using Node 10 for our application. And then once that's done, I want you to run this command. So just run this bash command so we can write an entire script right here. We can write an entire script right here. You all know we already have a published script. So this will help us out, okay? This will help us out. This will check out the latest code and get it all done. But this checking out is all done, remember, right here on whatever container they have inside of GitHub Actions, right? So even though all the building is done here, even though this is running in GitHub Actions, this has nothing to do with our servers. So we have to do more. We have to do more steps. We have to add more jobs to be able to get this stuff out to where we want it to get to. We also need to do a couple of other things. We can break this up into, I'm probably going to break this up into 2 different jobs to keep it simple, which is probably not going to be the build. It's probably going to be a test. So I'll say, instead of building, I'm going to call this test instead. Okay. So we're going to get this going. So the job is going to be called test, and we are going to be setting some stuff up right here. Let me get a little bit of water. It's pretty warm in here. Ooh, okay, there we go. And so there are a bunch of different ways. We might have to switch this up a little bit, but I will in fact leave this up here. Let me move this. So we check out the code, and after we check out the code and after we set up Node, we simply need to run some tests. How do we run the tests? Well, pretty simple. You would run them. Imagine that this is like a system. So we set up brand new system, Ubuntu latest. It checks out the code. What do we need to do to actually run our test if we just clone this repository and get going? The thing that we need to do is, I think, how do you do a little pipe? I think you can do it like this, maybe. We can do, run our normal Linux commands to tell it what to do. So nothing special here. Now we're just writing Linux commands now. So first thing I'm gonna do is, if we just clone this repository, we're gonna be in a directory that, we're gonna be in a main directory that this starts in, and then we're gonna have to go into the conduit directory that we just cloned. So I'm gonna cd into conduit. All right. And after I cd into, actually maybe we'll be in conduit. Actually, we'll be in conduit already, but we can check and see. I think after they clone it, we'll be in conduit. I don't know. But if we are in conduit, we'll have to change into the back end. Okay. And then when we get into the back end, we have to run npm install. And hopefully npm's already installed. I'm assuming it is in the node setup thing. And let's just start an npm test. These are basically the things that you have to do. This is the stuff that I would do manually when you run these things. You gotta cd into the right directory, then you have to install it. You have to do an npm install to get all the packages and things that you need, and then you have to test it. This is what we would do manually. So don't sweat it if you're like, how did you know how to do that? This is just if you go into the readme for the application, this is what you do. Let's cd into conduit back end. Let's also do an ls dash la so that we can see what's here in case it is a problem. But cool. All right, let's go with this for a second. And let's test around with it. Let's play around with it. The problem with building CI pipelines in the beginning is you kind of have to just run the pipeline to kind of know what's happening, and you have to put in, again, these probing statements. The reason why I put this here is because I want to see what's there. Maybe it'll be easier to just do let's do a PWD first, so we know where we are, and ls-la to see what's there. And then, it's just running some other commands, and let's see what's going on. Yep, I could just do I could do a tree command, but I'm not sure tree is installed. So I like to keep my commands to the more common commands, because tree is not always installed, because if we could just do a tree to see everything that's there. But this will just tell us what's there in case we're in the wrong place. If we're in the right place, good to go, and we'll just remove it. So it's going to do the same thing that it did last time, but when it just ran that echo command, this time it's going to run all of these commands instead. All right, so it's just kind of a script runner at this point. All right, so we're going to take this, we're going to save it, we're going to add it, git commit -m updated actions file, git push. I really need to use SSH instead. Okay, we'll let that build, and now I can look back at the chat really quick. So let's see what's happening with this. Is it building? Absolutely, it is building. So it picks that up almost immediately, which is really nice. And so even just that alone starts to show you how much time you can start to save when you don't have to worry about managing any of that stuff. So it's going to run the test, and the test fail. And why do the tests fail? When we do a PWD, let's do it like this. When I run the PWD, I'm actually in, I can't CD in a conduit backend. That's very interesting, actually. Oh, so I only have to CD in the back end. I'm already in conduit and so I think the thing that's doing this is that GitHub is the action that's there already. So I'm already in the repository. I'm already in the place that I want to be. Let me update that real quick. And then I will look at the chat because I know I'm missing a lot. So I'll leave that PWD and ls there for a second. And I simply think I just need to go into the backend folder. And let's add it again. I'm going to use the same commit message, which you should not do, and I'm going to push it. All right, let's see what happens with that. So do you know if there would ever be an instance where someone would need to run pipeline on a Windows image? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There are absolutely Windows pipelines. If your systems are running, if you're doing .NET stuff or something, absolutely. Okay, so wait, I think you're asking if they would need to run on a Windows image in GitHub Actions. So that's a good question. I don't know if GitHub Actions supports like Windows, like containers or Windows images. I'm not sure how that works in GitHub Actions, but absolutely, in CI tooling, that's absolutely something that you can do and that people may need to do. All right, so it failed again, and so now you can start to see already the benefit of, like, hey, the process stops. You get a nice X to know that you did something wrong, or there is something wrong with what is going on here, which is really nice. And now you need to go investigate. So it gives you some good introductory information. And so, cool. This is perfect. This is phenomenal. It's actually running the test. Take a look at this. This looks like the stuff that we saw when we ran the test manually. So it failed. It failed simply because the tests are actually failing. All right. And so right now you might be saying, wait, but that's a bad thing. How are we going to get past this? Great question. Phenomenal question. I'm not worried about the test right now because we're just trying to show what we're doing. And so failing tests should normally stop the whole thing. They should shut everything down. But there are ways to keep going when that happens. We don't care about these tests right now. We didn't write these tests. It's just not something we care about. I just want to show you where they would come in the workload. And so we actually have a couple of different things. We have the back end, we have the front end. So maybe we want to have, maybe we would want to have an entire other section to do this for the front end. And we also have Nginx in here, and Nginx doesn't really have the same type of testing capabilities, but what it does have is a way for you to confirm that Nginx configuration is proper. So we could also set that up as well. So you know, anything that you can test that you can think of using to confirm that changes that you've made are good, you should probably implement that into your workflow. So that is failing. It's failing, but there's a way to skip it. I can't remember how you do it in GitHub Actions, or I'm assuming there's a way to do it in GitHub Actions. Skip failing or ignore failure. Gotta be. There's always a way to do it. Ignore failure. Oh yeah, I guess I looked at this a while ago. Probably last time I was trying to do something like this to test some stuff out. Allow failure true. That got a lot of thumbs up, so that might be not the thing that we need. Hold on, did I just pass a good answer? Continue on error. That looks right. That sounds right. We just wanted to, if we run into an error, we can continue. So I think I remember this actually. So what we'll do is we will vim that again. And I think I can just stick in this step. Like I'll just put it, I'll put it at the bottom. I'll just put it right here. I think I can just do continue. I think it's snake case on error. And I think I can just set that to true. And I think this works. Probably doesn't, but we'll find out in a second. We'll simply do the same thing. Add, commit, push. All right, there we go. So we'll see if that works in a second. Researching on pipeline template. Don't know if GitHub Actions has the same concept, but if creating a template, is it worth making the task work on multi-OS or just Linux these days? It's really your own use case. For me, Linux is completely just fine for doing that. But it just depends on, I guess, where your company or where you're deploying these things to. Toast is Erling, what is up? How are you doing today? And yes, these tests were already in the repo. We did not write these. And so we're actually going to remove these tests and write some simpler ones to kind of fix it. But yeah. Can you write a bash? Can you write basic bash scripts and check for pass or fail of those scripts? So you can. You can. Absolutely, you can do that. You can do that. I'm not, it doesn't even need to go further than that. You can do that. Okay, so question. I spent 6 hours trying to use a fingerprint through Ansible on Circle. I'm trying to access an EC2 instance. It hangs on. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes or no? Phenomenal question. So one, we very well might run into that same issue right here. I was actually thinking about that a little bit earlier for what we're doing with this. We might run into that exact same issue. That for that problem, you may not be able to do that initially without, like, you may have to set up like a known hosts. You may have to like configure the known host file to know what to expect. Possibly. I'm not sure. There's probably an orb. So Circle has orbs. There's probably an orb that allows you to log into an EC2 instance that you may be able to use a little bit easier. That is it's interesting. It's very interesting. You may be able to add a -y in there as well. You may be able to just add a -y to your command. It might work as well. Let's try it out. But we'll probably run into a similar issue tonight. We'll see. What's the best approach for using SSH when using Ansible through Circle? That's also a phenomenal question, because the question becomes, more of a workflow question about how you're managing your Ansible files at all. I mean, it's a good question. It's a deeper question as well. We'll hold off on that for a second. That's a really good question. Long turn 0 and anything I get will pick it up. I think so. I think you can just add a -y. I really do. But let's see. Do the SSH keys ahead of time. So you can add them ahead of time as well. I can see SSH keys being a problem here. But we're gonna see. But 5 servers, but what about 1,000? Also excellent question. I think we may be able to dig into that a little bit as we kind of get a little farther along. All right, so we pushed that up. Let's see what happened. Let's see if anything built. Let's see. Let's go back to actions. Oh, and would you look at that? We have a passing test, or a passing. Oh, maybe not passing test, but we have a passing run. And why do we have a passing run? We have a passing run. Well, I thought it was passing. Yeah, it's passing because although this test step fails, although it's failing, and it is failing, we told it to continue even on error. So it finishes up just fine. And so as far as it's concerned, it is a passing run. And so you shouldn't, honestly, to me at least, I would only use the continue on error in extreme emergencies. I would stay away from it. I feel like if you're going to continue when there's an error, you probably I'm not sure what the needs are of the step that you put in there, but everyone has different ideas for how they want to do something like that. So what we can also do here is really quickly, we can add in, I actually don't think the front end actually has any, tests. Let's see. npm tests. I don't think it actually has anything. Failed React Redux real world cross env not found. Maybe it's let's see. Interesting. npm install. Let's try this out really quick. But we already have the basics of our pipeline going. Let's just see if we can get logged in to a server and actually get those things, deploying and there and looking good automatically for us. I think we can get there. I do. This is like the farthest and the fastest I've ever made it on GitHub Actions, to be honest. So now let me try to do npm test. Okay, so the front end has tests or no tests. It doesn't have any tests, but it has a test framework here. And it's running in watch mode. Run all tests. Okay, that 40 files checked, test match, 0 matches, 40 matches, test path ignores. This is weird. W to show more, Q to quit. Interesting. Fine, I guess. Not a big deal. Follow the template. What do you mean follow the template? Like go to, I don't really need to go see any of these things. Source. It's just checking for a bunch of tests. Oh, you're talking about up top. It's ignoring node modules. There are no tests here. There's simply no tests here. So we don't even need to really run this, but we could if we wanted to. We could set up another, let's see, rnpcr node, our GitHub. We could set up another, we could also do exactly what we just did. After these tests run, we could also do another run where we do it for the other stuff where we go back and CD into the front end and check that stuff. But I don't think we need to add that in right now. We can run as many tests as we want. Just know that we have a whole test step here. And so any tests that we want to add, any tests, if we want to test Nginx or something, we can add them to this job right here. But the other job that we need is the deploy job. And let's see if we can get done with this really fast. The next thing we want to do is deploy it. And so, yeah, we want to deploy this out to the server. And how are we deploying this out to the server? The way that we did it was we simply went into GitHub. We used Git to, just pull the changes that we needed down, which is great. But, the way that you would need to do that is you got to log into the server first, get into the right directory, and do your pull. So now I guess our deploy is going to be simply SSHing into the server and doing a git pull. Now we're gonna have to make some other changes after that. It's not going to be quite that easy. There are things that we're gonna have to implement to make it be able to use multiple environments and stuff. But let's see if we can get that up and running. We could do this. We absolutely could do this manually with our own run command. We could try this out. But what we don't want to do is do something we don't have to do. So GitHub actions. And if I Google it, isn't there like I swear there's like a marketplace. There we go. Check the marketplace first, please check the marketplace first. People have set up nice paradigms for you to be able to do some stuff, and there's got to be an SSH one here. I don't know that there's one, but there has to be one, right? Like there just has to be one, and it looks like there are a bunch. Let's see which one has the most stars. Let's look for the most stars. I don't know why it's not set up by the most stars, but who has the most stars? 2, 4, 2, 3, 6. 177, that looks good. 112, 709. Mr. Appleboy, 709, that looks good. 34, 223. Okay, let's look at let's look at that. Always double check the code if you can. Anyone can publish. Yep, absolutely. And again, that should be for just about everything. If it's important, you should check the code, check to see if it's, look at it, make sure you understand what's going on. That is important for security. Again, right now for like little projects and things like this, like we don't really care about, you can just grab this stuff, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel. But I also say check for these things, because even if you are going to look through the code and you don't want to use these publicly available things, you can still see their code and you can see what they implemented under the hood to achieve the same thing, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to steal and to reuse. So this person, Mr. Appleboy or Apple Guy, what was it? It was Apple something. I don't see his name here anymore, but it was back here. I gotta give him his credit. Let's go back. It was Appleboy. Yeah, it was Appleboy. Okay. Gives us a way to SSH in. So check this out. The usage of this is this. Here's some usage down here. So this looks like what we've already seen. So jobs, it's going to do a build, Ubuntu latest steps. So really the step is what we need. Like this is what we need right here. It's just the step that uses Appleboy SSH action at master. That's the piece that we kind of need right here. Like it's really just this. The rest of this is just boilerplate for kind of what we already have, the on push stuff, and the name already is there, and we set up our jobs, and our first job is actually test. But now we're doing a deploy test, a deploy stage. You can set up SSH keys inside of GitHub to do this. No, yes, you can. Yes, you can do that. And so in here, this person is using secrets. They are using the secrets paradigm. So when we talk about secrets are those special pieces of information you don't want the world to have. And so how would the world get those? We're writing everything as code. So if we wanted to SSH into something, we're not using username and password because we're on AWS right now. But if you did, people will be able to see your password because you would hard code it in here, and we don't want to do that. So they give you this paradigm of secrets where you can put secrets inside of the repository, and when this runs, it will get it from there and not actually display it anywhere, so that nobody knows what your secret information is. So it looks like, I'm just going to deduce from this. I'm going to stick this as a step in my deploy command, and it looks like we just need the host, the username, the password, the port, and I don't think we need a script, but we'll check. I doubt it. Let's have a little fun with this. So I'm gonna paste this here, just like that. Phenomenal. Actually, I need all the other stuff. So I think I need to also, I think I need this stuff as well. So I think I need runs on still. And I think I also want to make sure that we start to set up some logic here, some logic in that. Yes, I did. You can set up some workflow rules, so I can make this deploy step. I only want it to run after this job step. So remember we talked about how you could run different things in parallel. We are not going to run, we don't want to run these in parallel. We want to make sure that the tests happen first before we try to deploy anything. So we can add on like a depends on or something like that. I think in GitHub Actions, I think I remember it being needs instead of anything else. I think it's something like needs, and I think you can make it an array of something, but I think you can just say, hey, this needs test. And so if there were more than one thing, it could be more than one thing. And so test needs to finish before this deploy job runs, and it's gonna run on Ubuntu latest. And then I stole everything else that is here. SSH is just for logging on a specific user to store our artifacts, right? No, so we are actually, SSH is secure shell. It is what we're using to connect to a remote Linux machine, and we're SSHing into, we're doing this old school, we are SSHing into the machine to not only get the new code, we're basically gonna SSH in, do a git pull, basically, depending on what branch we're on, we're gonna pull the new code down, and then we're gonna have to restart the services to make sure all of the changes take place. Maybe we won't have to restart services because this was kind of live reloading. But yeah, that's what we'll have to do. All right, what's up, @.me? I like it. Welcome to the channel. Rodix, welcome to the channel. Sully, thank you so much for the follow. To Chibu, welcome. Ronnie, welcome. Everyone, good to have you all. We've come a long way with environment variables. Yes, environment variables are where it's at. We are going to need to do some environment variables for sure. I like how Circle separates jobs and workflows. I agree. I really like the separation of jobs and workflows. Does GitHub Actions have that? Let me see. I have no idea if it has that. GitHub Actions workflows. Managing complex workflows. Maybe this is it. Whoa. Jobs. Creating dependencies. So the needs, that's what I just did. The needs, I guess I can remove it from the little array. The matrix, great. You can cache dependencies. So remember how we talked about caching dependencies? That's probably going to be something good for us to add later on. Using labels to route workflows. Huh, okay. Well, maybe you can't, but I do like the workflows. Excellent. I love it that you're staying just for the voice, whatever keeps you here is what I like. So I'm glad you're staying. I'm glad you were able to find us. Don't feel bad for sticking around for the sultriness of what we're learning tonight, but let's go. Let's finish this up. We're going to try to keep this 2.5 hours. We're going to try at 9:30. We're going to try to finish this up, I hope. So we took this, I think we added it to what we have down here. This now means we need to set up some secrets though. It now means we need to set up a host, a username, a password, and a port. Do they allow us to use keys? Actually, this is a good question. We actually need to go look at this and see what other options we have available to us, because we don't have username and password auth for the server that we're joining into. We need to be able to use a key, and it looks like we can in fact use a key. Phenomenal, really good to go. I'm excited about that. So I think we can just use the key parameter here. So let's go ahead and switch that up. Let's remove password and make it key instead. And let's make it secrets password. Let's call this key. So host, username, key, port. Feels like we shouldn't need port, but that's fine. We need a username, we need a host, we need a key. That's all we need. I'm gonna remove script, and I think that's all. I mean, we can leave it script because we can run our own stuff. We can also just run a run, but we'll leave script there. We'll run our own script. Okay. All right, let's set these things up. How do you set up the secrets? Let's go ahead and let's go into our repo, and you go into settings and you go to secrets. So you just go to the settings in your repository and you go to secrets, and you can start to set these things up. The way that they are accessed, these are, JavaScript, it's dot notation. So inside of your secrets, it's going to grab .host, .username, .key, .port. So we need to name our secrets, whatever these are called. So I need host, username, key, and port. Let's go ahead and do that. So the host is going to be, we need to log into, the host is going to be staging.pipelines. This is where things get good. I love it. So we're just gonna get this going first, and then if we have time we'll change it. If not, we will incorporate some of the variability in as we kind of build out some of the pieces. But we can't really so these secrets are they're repository wide. Okay, so host, if I put staging.pipelines.media in here, it's always like everything is always going to deploy out to staging. And so we need to be careful with that. There are a number of ways to do this. There are a number of ways. There's a number of ways that you do it in a CI pipeline. I'm not sure the best way to do it inside of GitHub Actions, but you could do a couple different things. You could do something where you are setting, where you are injecting, where you're writing a little like if statement or a little case statement, and you are injecting the value of host. You're setting the value of host to maybe on the fly. This, instead of it being host, it'll end up being like staging host or something like that, depending on something that we pass in elsewhere. There's a lot of cool different ways to do it depending on how you're deploying. Right now we're just gonna get this stuff out here so you can see what it looks like, and then we'll start to mix that up a little bit. So so we need host. So we're gonna staging.pipelines.media. Let's see, our environment secrets mixed. This is like one big bucket for the whole repo. So you have to do the work. You have to do the work to get it to know what to use. So a lot of times people will use I can check the branch. So like a lot of times you'll go in and you'll put in here somewhere where it'll actually check for the branch, and we can make some decisions. We can set all of our variables in here based on whichever branch it is. We can do that. But yeah, that is too broad to have secrets. Well, the only thing in here that actually needs to be a secret is actually the key. And so that actually, you know what? That's pretty good. But then we can't, again, the hard coding of this. Actually, let's see something real quick. GitHub Actions if statement. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe we can just set it up right now. I didn't want to go down too many rabbit holes. So expression uses steps invar. Okay, here we go. and then I can have it. Okay, I like that if conditional jobs and workflows. Let's just see. I just want to see what my options are. If contains snapshot. Let's see. Oh well, so contexts are great in Circle, but yeah, there we go. Good thinking. Contexts are great. So in Circle CI, in Circle CI, they have a method called contexts. So contexts allow you to define the entire contextual settings of a run. So or even of a workflow, and so in each context, so I can have a staging context, and in that staging context, it would have all the variables that pertain to staging. In the production context, it would have, all the things that are there and set up properly, and it makes it super easy to do some stuff with that. But I'm not sure how you do that in GitHub Actions. Let's see how something like that might work. Let's do this. GitHub Actions, change variables between branches. Let's just Google exactly what we want and see what we get. And thank you, Zickley. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words about my voice. Lean into it a little bit. I used to not care that much. I used to be like, it's weird people complimenting me on my voice, but I'm leaning into it now. The problem is though, I guess my question is, I guess it would be, I think my question is, we're setting, okay, so yes, we can change environment variables, but then how do I reference that environment variable right here? Like these secrets aren't environment variables as far as I know. Inside of GitHub Actions, I'm pretty sure they are just it's just like a JSON payload, JSON object that gets pulled and it gets pulled in here, but it's okay. Right now we will set this up. I promise you we will get this set up and working, but let's just get this stuff deployed first really quick. So first, we're on the staging branch. We are purely working out of the staging branch, so let's hard code some stuff, the wrong way. Staging dot pipelines dot media, and then we got username. The username is Ubuntu. Oh, I spelled that right the first time. I usually mess that up. Now, key is the only thing I'm going to use as a secret. It's the only thing I'm going to use as a secret. And port is 22. Great. Could set up a test for branch name and then set up the specific thing. Oh, yes. We could do that. Like different, you're saying like different steps, or like I've seen people do it this way too. Like they'll have like a staging deploy, and then they'll do some, like it's only based upon what ran. We had to do that a couple times too, but I don't like that. Host and use environment to switch as secrets. So the problem is, are these referred to? This is running. I'm not sure on what level the secrets are being requested at. Like, so host and use environment to switch as secrets, branch.host. Okay, that makes sense. Secrets.branch.host. That makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. Let's do that. And that's a good idea. Let's see if that works. And so we go secrets. I hope that it picks that up though. I think that's my only concern, that it might not pick that up, but we'll see. We'll find out real fast. Branch.host. I like that. And really, I think that's all we need. Everything else is gonna be the same. So yeah, this actually might be perfect. I love it. This might work. Let's check this out really quick. Let's make sure we get everything in there. So the problem is though, we just need to make sure that we do this. We'll need to set up a staging.host. So instead of host, this needs to be staging.host. All right, and we need to make sure we set up one for production, which sure, and we'll need to set up one for development. So let's see if that works. We also failed to create secret name is invalid. Okay, so maybe we have to do something like staging dash. Let's try staging dash host and pipelines.media. I like that. Let's see if the dash works. No, it is invalid. So maybe we do secret stat. Maybe we can just do staging host. Maybe we can interpolate this. Let's see. Staging, I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Pipelines.media. All right. Oh, does underscore work? Let's see. It didn't tell me what, I'm mad it didn't tell me what valid values we have. Actually, let me copy this in case I have to do this again. I want to type that in. And let's try underscore. I prefer underscores. Phenomenal. Excellent. I love it. Even better. But did I capitalize this? Or did it capitalize this? The problem is, I don't know who capitalized it. If they capitalized it, well, the value should be pipelines. The value is only pipelines for production. So that's gonna be another problem that we have. Does branch come through as capitalized or not? But we can see. And is there a way to capitalize in here? Because that's going to be another problem. But let's go ahead and do that as well. The S at the end of the secret's value. Oh, I actually didn't even put in the secret's value yet. I didn't put it in there. But yeah, staging host. I'm gonna update it. Let's see if it picks that up. So let's just make sure we get the underscore in here. The problem is, see, I don't think it's gonna this might work. This actually might work. I just don't know if it's going to pick that up or not. Let's add the key really quick. So the key is going to be the PIM file that I use to log in. I don't think any of you are going to be able to easily copy it, and I'll rotate it out anyway, but you've already seen me put in a secret. So what I'm going to do is you all, instead of being able to see my screen while I do this, because I can't do it off screen, is you will look at nothing. Okay, while I add in my key, while I add in the PIM key really quick. And the PIM key is just going to be a key. And let's see, let's cat that thing. / documents, AWS keys, pipelines, and yep, you should see, that's exactly what you should see. And I'll probably mess this up, and I'll probably accidentally share it with you. I'll probably accidentally share it with you on accident, because that's usually how I do this. I usually do a bunch of work to make sure you can't see it, and then you can see it on accident. But let's see. Oh, you see a 3080, a 2080 in stock on the screen. Yeah. First off, I have a lot. I'm going to need to work with one of you who knows a lot about computers, because I have a 2080 Ti. I have a 3950X. I should be getting really, really great frame rates in Warzone, even though Warzone is a terribly unoptimized game, all this other stuff. I get awful. I mean, not awful. I get like 90 frames, 90 to 90 to 100, maybe. Sometimes I get 100 to like 110 or 115 at 1440, but I can't figure out why. I cannot for the life of me figure out why. I see people all the time like, yeah, I play, you know, my 2080 Ti gets 144 frames. I don't really know. Yeah, I do have I have NVMe SSDs. I have like Samsung 9 something Evos or something. I don't know. I'll give you all that information in a little bit. Let me cut my capture card back on. There we go. Okay, so I have my key in there. As you can see that I have key and staging host in here. Let's see if it picks these things up. All right, so this should just get us logged in. And my script, all I'm gonna say in my script, I'm simply gonna say, I'm just gonna echo out, you're logged in. That's all I'm gonna say for now. Add, commit. Did I type that in wrong? I did. All right, I'm adding my key in tonight. Very annoying. Gotta add it back to this laptop. Yeah, I'll try to kill some background processes. VSync is off. Yeah, VSync is off. And it runs pretty consistently at the same frame rate. Like I don't drop a bunch of like, it runs at that. It doesn't keep like dropping and going back up, but it's just I don't think it's near what I'm supposed to get. And my usage, like my GPU usage is like at like 16 or 17%. And my CPU usage is at like 40. So I don't know. I did not feed the hamster in the hamster wheel. That was probably my mistake, and I'll make sure to get first off, I don't know what hamsters eat, so that's why I haven't fed him, but I will feed him later. So we push that, we'll push those up, and if we go into actions, let's see. It did fail. All right, okay, you know, hurts our heart a little bit to see that it failed. Workflow is not valid. Phenomenal. Look at this. There's probably a way to easily test this. And unexpected symbol branch host. Oh, I just kind of put that in there. Was that probably a better way. GitHub actions, whoops, branch name. GitHub ref is what we need to do instead. Oh, outputs branch. Interesting. That might be something a little bit different. We need GitHub ref is what we need. Learning every day. Oh, we could also, okay. GitHub ref, let's do it. Let's see. GitHub _ ref. That seems right. Add, commit, push. Let's do this. Oh, so yeah, I mean, I've reset the flux capacitor a couple of times. Last time my computer didn't really like that, and it caused me a lot of issues, and my computer went down for a couple of days. So I'm gonna hold off on resetting the flux capacitor, but it could be the problem. It might just need a new one. It might just need a brand new flux capacitor to fix all of my issues. That would be very exciting. And I mean, it would be expensive, but you know, living the computer life. Oh no. Oh, this is still the same. That was dumb. It's still the same job. That failed before, but this failed this time. But is it valid? No, it's not valid. GitHub ref host unexpected symbol. So that's not how you can do it. Let's see. GitHub actions. See, this is what I don't want to go down this road, but we're going down it now. GitHub actions. Secrets. Secrets. Interpolation. Maybe that's what we need. Interpolation with GitHub actions. Let's see. Secrets.github token. solved. That's not what we want, because this is just a reference. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. These are like stuff like this. These are the little things that like you end up having to learn when you're switching between different providers, but like the concept is the same. Like this is something that like, and being able to interpolate this value into here is something that you might have to do in any of these tools. And just understanding how to get this secret or this value in there is something that you have to do in all of them. But knowing how to do the little stuff in each of them can be kind of tough. And so I think for this one, I think we want to do something like this. Actions if conditionals to run a job, and then I think I can just do like if the ref, like if GitHub ref, or yeah, if GitHub ref equals, so something like this. Let me try one more. I'm just gonna do this, and if this doesn't work, we will just hard code it just to see it get deployed. And so I can say only run this. If GitHub underscore ref, and I might need a $, maybe. I'll check that a second. Equals staging. Let's try GitHub actions if branch, let's see what that is. Branch conditionals, here we go. If github.ref equals cool, something like this. So maybe we'll try this instead. Whoa, I don't need dev tools. I need you to paste properly. What's happening here? And change it to staging. And this would suck because this would mean that I would have to do, like, I would have to do one of these for each one. So like, we'll see if this works, but we'll see. Add, commit, git push, and let's see if this is proper. And if not, we'll just hard code and finish this up for the evening, because that's what we want to do. We want to get done. And then we're pretty close. Much closer than I thought we were last time. So it didn't fail as fast. So that means it's valid, or at least it thinks it's valid. All right, so it's running through our tests. Our tests are obviously going to fail. But then once this continues on, because we told it to, we get to the deploy step, and let's see what happens here. You logged in. So it did. I think it worked. Why did it fail? I don't know why it failed. Oh, no such host. Dial TCP. No such host. It seems as though we logged in though. It echoed out, or maybe it didn't. I don't know. Oh, the if warning, unexpected if, valid endpoints, entry point host. Okay. Maybe it didn't run our, maybe it, oh, I don't know. I don't know, but it looks like you missed the S in pipelines in the value of staging host secret. That'll do it. That will 1000% do it. You all told me that, so we'll go ahead and update that, and then we'll just kick that back off. Settings, secrets, update staging host. And so you're saying I missed staging dot pipelines dot media. Does that look better? Staging dot pipelines dot media. Update secret, and it did say unknown host, so it tried to log in and the host didn't work. Now I don't know how actions works. If I try to rerun, I'm going to try to rerun this exact failed thing. I'm assuming that actions repulls, I'm assuming that's going to repull the secrets at runtime, but it might not. It might not repull those secrets, but we will find out very, very shortly. Very shortly. And that'll be nice, because then we can just, it'll be easier for us to have a framework to add to all of our environments. And again, there probably is a better framework for doing this in GitHub Actions. We're working with what we got. We're working with what we know, or I'm working with what I know per se. And we'll see what happens. But I am glad, I am much more confident. I'm much more comfortable already in this iteration that I'm doing. Oh, perfect. That worked. Successfully executed. So it logged in perfectly. That is phenomenal. That makes me very happy. Okay. It works. Our run is complete. We were able to log in. So that's the hardest part. I think, just getting logged in, I think is the most difficult part. Now, after that, we can simply do whatever we want now in this script. So we did echo you're logged in. I think now we will have to CD into conduit, and then I think after we CD into conduit, I think we can just simply do a git pull. We'll probably need to make sure git is installed, but oh well. So GitHub Actions is a Travis competitor. Yes, it is a Travis CI competitor. Great question. They do very similar things in different ways. I think I mean, Travis is more mature. GitHub Actions is pretty darn new. Actually, I think maybe 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, maybe. I don't know. So Travis is much more mature. But GitHub has an army behind it. GitHub Actions has an army behind it, and they've come a long way pretty quickly. So we just need to do a git pull. Let's see if this git pull works. Before we do the extra stuff, let's just take it step by step, gain insight into the process. Let's also do an ls -la here just to see. Let's actually do it beforehand, just in case something fails. Let's put it right here. Just to see what is where we are, so just in case that doesn't work. So add, commit, push, and get that on up to where it needs to be. All right, and so every time we do this, it takes a few minutes to go through and run the test, which is really annoying. But if this had to build, when it does the npm installs and stuff, which normally can take some time, for our sake, it actually doesn't take that long. You can cache all those dependencies and stuff, and it would probably increase our runtime by, this is a pretty short run, so probably, maybe give us 25% or something. But that would be kind of cool. So what's going to happen here, though, is there's some other things that we need to change in the actual application itself, but I think this is going to work. So check this out. It actually, we CD'd into, so we were in the right place. I think we CD'd into conduit, and check that out. It did a git pull, and when it did a git pull, it actually failed. Or or it didn't fail. It gave us an error because it tried to merge some stuff. It seems like we just had some stuff out of whack here. That's probably our fault. We did some stuff on the server. We did some stuff in the files. We should really not have done anything on the server ever. And so it has a little problem here. Also, it's doing this because it's currently on the server. It's set to the staging branch. Here it's pulling master, and this is actually pretty actually not, that shouldn't matter. Actually, it shouldn't matter what it's pulling, but it did. You know, you can see it did pull some stuff down here, but it did error. That's really weird. But so staging should be broken, and it should be broken. Staging is supposed to be broken, but that's probably because the pull didn't go through properly. But it did actually do what we wanted to do. But you can start to see how, like, all right, it's now interacting with the actual system itself. This is very this is relatively rudimentary. This is very simple. These newer CI tools are kind of designed for a different purpose. Like they're not really designed to SSH in and run some commands. They will do that just fine, but the true power of them comes into when you have different types of artifacts, when you're building containers, when you're building these different packages and things and sending them where you want to send them. So this is kind of like, you might be like, hey, I could have scripted this out to go do that, because that's basically what we're doing now. We're basically going through and telling it to do some other stuff. And so like in here, we could say, cool, if there's an update, maybe it needs to do with like a PM2 kill. And then maybe it needs to do, to CD into another directory, it needs to CD into front end and do a PM2, a PM2 start npm or whatever. And so we could then basically script out here everything that we have scripted out in the deploy.sh, or we could actually give this the deploy.sh script to run if we wanted to do that as well. So I just really wanted to get this to a point where it could do exactly that. Let me check something out real quick. Let's see if this head, reference for the head is working. Let's see if this if statement is working. Let's try, this is in staging. Let's do it. Let's branch off of this really quick. Get status. Let's get checkout -b. Let's call this no deploy. We'll call this the no deploy branch. This shouldn't build at all, actually. Well, no, we know it's not going to build. We already tested that. We know it's not going to build. We would have to move this. We would have to move this file into. We would have to move the. What's that thing called? The build file into the master branch or into the development branch, if we wanted to do that, and we can do that. Let me get checkout development. I wouldn't even have a development branch, do we? This is perfect. Actually, excellent. Git push -u origin development. Now, what should happen here is, because we said development branch can be built, it should build. But if that if statement is working properly, it should skip the deploy step. Or it might only skip the script step. I'm not really sure how we have it nested. But let's see what happens here. So first time development has been pushed, and it tells you right here which branch is being pushed. And so we can check that out and watch the progress. And hopefully, like I said, it'll be nice to know that this if paradigm works that we have. And so it looks like it's running the deploy step, but is it gonna run the final script? So we'll at least know what it actually does, what that if does. It did everything. Oh, actually, did it? It logged in, but it did everything. Okay, so I don't think our if statement did anything. I don't think it did anything at all. Maybe it's in the wrong location. maybe it needs to go higher up or something. We can look into that later. Not super important. What is super important is to know that you can start to, hopefully you're starting to see how you can start to build out just different steps that do different things. Again, essentially script runners right now. It looks super simple. We will update this almost every single class, every single week. We will end up updating this because we are going to end up right now. This is a mono repo. I'm just gonna give you a heads up now. We're gonna be splitting this out into, we're gonna learn about microservices. We're gonna split this out into more of a microservice architecture. So we're actually gonna have different repositories. So we're gonna have different build pipelines. And then we're going to be building different kind of artifacts. So we're actually going to be spitting out containers in some instances, and we'll be doing some stuff with Nginx. Maybe we won't containerize Nginx. We'll be doing some stuff with Mongo as well. We'll actually be adding more types of services and things. So the build processes will change substantially. But hopefully you're starting to see how you can start to build out just more and more steps and jobs to control the flow of not only data, but of processes. And this is what CI/CD is. This is the big thing that people are paying you a bunch of money to know. It's just to understand, hey, when help me so that when the developers are pushing to their staging branch or the development branch, that the proper tests can get run, and this can go to the proper location. The artifacts can get delivered to the proper place and go to the right place. Again, once you get this thing set up in a really nice way, you can have tons of steps in here, and it can all be kicked off by simple merge. Someone merges code into development, and maybe 10 or 15 steps will happen completely hands off. You'll have full insight to everything that goes on. So if anything does go wrong, you'll be alerted. You'll understand what happened, when it happened, where it happened, and it makes it super easy, hands off, to be able to run through a lot of these things. What extension is that at the bottom that shows the line of code where you are at? So this is I think this is the default power line that comes with Vim. I think mine is just colored differently. Let's see if I can find out in my VimRC, or am I using, I never remember if I'm using NeoVim or not, but I can check. I think this is setting up some of my terminal colors right here. And I was using, maybe it's this L highlight. I'm not sure. But yes, this is Vim. It's not VS Code. So my Vim settings are in my GitHub. So if you do ! GitHub, I have a config files repo that has my VimRC in there that you can steal. And I have I keep saying it, I keep saying a lot of things, but I do have a video coming out to talk about, that's talking about exactly how to customize both like a Linux setup for 2020, a Linux desktop setup for 2020, as well as like a development environment setup that does go over how to install this Vim stuff and how to get your terminal cool and all other stuff. And it'll be for the video is taking so long because it's on Windows, Mac, and Linux, so it's actually a pretty lengthy video, and I've restructured it like 6 times. So yeah, so I'll check that out. Check that out when it comes out. It's loaded. It is loaded. I don't use all that stuff. I need to clean it up. I basically have built it up over time, and I don't use all that stuff anymore. Virtual assistant, welcome to the channel tonight. Thank you so much for the raid with the Party 5. Everybody who just came over from virtual assistant, welcome. Good to have you. We are just finishing up though, so your timing is, it's not amazing, but it's fine. But good to see you. I hope you had an amazing stream tonight. Shout out to virtual assistant. Let me let's see. Let me give you a little shout out here. Thank you for the follow. First off, Moose. I love the name. Moose is a phenomenal name. I do love me some Meese, which is the plural of moose, if you didn't know. Now I'm joking. There's a funny video though on people talking about the plurals of things, but thank you so much. Isaiah 005, welcome to the channel as well. What's up, Eddie Doro? How you doing? Import name, how are you doing? Ghost 6 Fire, it is also good to have you as well. Yeah, we just finished up running through some CI CD concepts, continuous integration and continuous delivery concepts. We used GitHub Actions to start to build out a pipeline for some applications that we have, a little test application that we have, and so we have something to work off of. If so right now, if you do deploy to any of these branches, everything's going to get deployed to staging right now, which is interesting. So any changes will go there. We'll need to figure that out. We will absolutely need to figure that out before things are over with. But that's it. That's it. Again, the tangible takeaways for tonight is I want you to just simply know that continuous integration is the way that you know that your code is still working. And as code is being continuously and automatically integrated into the code base, it is being automatically tested, automatically checked for vulnerabilities. And again, you don't have to do all these things. These are things that people highly recommend. But checking for vulnerabilities, testing, running your automated tests to make sure things are still working, and moving your code around to the places that it needs to be. Continuous delivery is taking that process after the build is triggered. The continuous integration process happens where it's tested and everything, and continuous delivery is the part where now you're actually saying, hey, everything looks good, let's go ahead and build the artifacts that we need for this code to run somewhere else. And so you'll actually do the build process to develop either the Docker image or the VM image, the AMI, whatever it might be, the zip file, the executable, whatever it's going to be that you're delivering. You build that and you stick it in the place that it needs to go. Sometimes that is, again, simply a storage spot, an S3 bucket, a hard drive somewhere. You stick it there. And continuous deployment is to automatically deploy these things once they are delivered, taking that artifact that was delivered and getting them out into a system that can be accessed by someone. And we learned about some of the tools that you can use to do this CI/CD process. So we used GitHub Actions, which is a tool that's built inside of GitHub, which makes it kind of easy. It uses YAML, and you basically declare these different steps. You declare these jobs with these steps, and it basically is like a script runner, and it goes through and does all the things that you want to do. Circle CI is like that. Jenkins is like that. I mean, not Jenkins. Circle CI is like that. Travis is like that. I don't know about some of the other ones. Jenkins can be a little more. It's the OG of all of the tools. It's the oldest, the most tried and true, but it's the most, just like Java itself, it's the most verbose. It's a Java application, if you did not know, but it's the most verbose. I would check it out. It can do everything, but again, people, I haven't used it in a long time. I don't want to speak poorly about it, but it's still heavily used at a lot of organizations, so you can't go wrong at all by learning any of these tools, really. There's Azure pipelines, and there's AWS CodeStar if you want to be able to do that stuff. Code Build in particular is the CI tool for that. Yeah, and again, we just practiced a little bit, setting up a couple different steps. Although this is a script runner, there are some paradigms in here that allow us to get more powerful that we aren't using. We discussed matrices a little bit, which allows you to actually test your code against multiple versions of runtime all at the same time, which is great. There's some really great ways in here to, again, secrets. We learned a little bit about secrets management, like you see here, that you can stick your secrets inside of GitHub, so you don't have to worry about hard coding that into your code and people seeing these things. And yeah, there's a lot of other concepts that we're going to learn about CI/CD over time. It can get very powerful. It really does get pretty powerful. GitHub Actions is nice because these actions allow you to not have to write a ton of code. They're basically pulling code from someone else. This is a GitHub URL basically. At master is actually using the master branch of this action, which is really cool. And so it's kind of nice. So if I were you, I would take a look. If you want to learn a little more about CI/CD, maybe do a little quick tutorial on GitHub Actions or something. Again, Manage Chaos posted a link way earlier. I saved that link. I will stick it in the resources channel if it's not already stuck in the resources channel of Discord. So if you're not in Discord, hit !Discord, join that, so you can see that. But he did I think he did an entire course on how to use GitHub Actions. So hop in there, take a look at that. I honestly should go through it and learn GitHub Actions a little bit better, because I might have to, I generally like to stay out of the walled garden of you know, I really don't like, you know, this vendor lock-in. You know, like this is the reason why I only have a single Apple product, you know, and I have a Google product, a single Google product, because I don't like the vendor lock-in. But I'll tell you what GitHub is doing right now with code spaces and, you know, building out their entire CI/CD, you know, workflow, giving you the tools for everything. I might have to get stuck in here, man. This is really cool, so I might have to get a lot better with GitHub Actions. But not a complicated topic, but can be complicated to learn the tool. So take a look at what we do. I'm going to push this code up, even though Extra's code is already there. That's how it works. So in the master branch, you should be able to see all this stuff. In the staging branch, you should be able to see the most up-to-date stuff. We'll get that in the master as well. But take a look at it, see if you can wrap your brain around it. I say clone the repo, clone it, fork it, and in your own account, in your own repository, you can start to make edits to this and watch it build. You won't be able to push to my servers, but if you set up this somewhere else, if you set up conduit somewhere else, you can absolutely deploy if you want. My stuff is deploying via AWS. Maybe you can switch it up to push somewhere else. Maybe you have a DigitalOcean server or something like that. So that is that. So where are we at? The place that we're at now is basically we're at this company called Pipelines. It's a media company. We kind of have development environments that work. I am actually going to try to merge in the changes that someone put in for Mongo, so that we have an easy one-click development environment with Docker Compose. There was one other error. I already know what that error, how to solve that error. So I'll try to knock that out so that we can have a one-click deploy when we walk in on Monday. But that's where we are. And so the next week we are, when they join, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be learning about how to break some of this stuff up. I think we're going to learn how to approach this a little bit differently. Understanding distributed systems. So we're already in AWS, but we're just sitting on some servers. We're going to understand distributed systems and distributed computing next week, and then we're going to learn how to approach cloud migrations. And so we're going to imagine that we're not already in the cloud. What I did is the place that we're at right now is essentially what's called a lift and shift. And so we're just kind of sitting there. We are going to basically get this product as cloud native as possible. And working in a distributed computing model and cloud computing model that is appropriate for this. And we'll spend some time learning about systems architecture and design next week, and really designing this and figuring out how to move this around how we want. So we're essentially going to be doing a 1-week cloud migration and how you would approach that. So it should be pretty fun. And in that, we'll talk about code promotion and handling data, because all that is super duper important. So that should be a fun week. And then that following week is, I think, everyone comes for all the information. I think the next 2 weeks, week 4 and 5, are what people are mostly here for. That 2 weeks of infrastructure as code, that 2 weeks of hands-on infrastructure as code and converting, we will codify all of this. Everything that we're doing, by the end of that second week, we will have codified every single piece of it, and the entire thing will be able to be run, basically with the click of a button or 2 buttons, infrastructure and all. So that should be pretty fun. So that's it. If you're interested in any of the decoded stuff, tomorrow we are learning, we just learned about APIs and web protocols and things yesterday. Tomorrow we are going to spend the entire time learning how to build APIs. There's probably no slides to cover tomorrow. It's probably purely building an API. You'll basically walk in. There'll be information about what the API we're building is going to do, what kind of information it's going to give. People are going to be able to get from it, what the requirements are, and we will spend 2.5 hours building it. And we will probably do it. I haven't chosen the language yet. We should keep it fresh here. It'll probably be Express. Just because that'll probably be the thing that makes the most sense, but we'll see what we'll build it in. I'm not going to do any like serverless stuff, like using API gateway or anything like that, because that's that would be the easiest. That would be my preference. It would make it super easy using like a serverless framework or something, but it's a software course, and so we're gonna focus on doing it with with the code that we know, keeping it as simple as possible, so that we can do that. But that's it. Congratulations on completing 25%. You're 25% of the way through this entire boot camp. Hope you've learned a lot so far. There's still a lot to learn, and hopefully you can also see why I told you there are two versions. There are two versions of this pipelines course. There's so much information that you can't really get through all of it in the week. And so if you're like, all right, I'm learning a lot, but I'm still missing a lot as we're going along, not a problem. Don't sweat that at all. Pick up what you can. Keep going. Pick up what you can. When we do the second round of basically this, it's not necessarily more complicated. It is a lot of what we've been doing in different ways that I think will also, like, if you do them both, will help cement some of this stuff, since the concepts again are so big. Like, they're also big, and it's hard to kind of learn about them and implement things immediately. So that's what we'll be doing. I'm glad everyone was able to come through. I hope like I said, hope everyone gets something out of it. Thank you all for coming to hang out with me in the evenings. Like I said, I look forward to this time for sure. The only other thing I'm here to tell you is that me and my friends have started our gaming career, our gaming careers on the interwebs, kind of. So if you don't know, go ahead and follow Stone Cold Stream Austin. If you like watching some games, probably going to be playing on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, for just a couple hours, just to chill and relax and try to win some Warzone games. That's what we're playing right now, at least. But we're just having fun, not anything serious at all, just having a little fun, time to hang out. But give it a follow. You should see what I'm streaming. Not serious at all. But that's it. Thank you everyone for the great night. I'm gonna go get some food because I'm starving. Who are we gonna go say hello to? Let's check it out. Let's see. Callow's on. I think we just hit Callow. Let's go ahead and hit up Isaiah by Dea. Is there a command that tells me server downtime? Whoa, that's very loud. Downtime? I don't think so. Because I don't think a server. Do you mean like? Yeah, I don't think so. How long like a service has been down for? Not that I know of. I can tell you uptime. But yeah, like if it breaks. So if you have certain monitoring tools and stuff, it'll tell you how long it's been receiving, certain faulty health checks and things like that. But no, nothing I know of baked in. Nothing I know of for sure. So we're gonna say hello to Isaiah by Dea, who's doing some study hall and chilling, listening to music. I find that to be usually pretty fun. Just to kind of relax with. The last two times I stuck around and learned a bunch of stuff. I'm about a week behind, so trying to catch up. Can I just fork the conduit? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you actually can. Just fork it and you should be able to follow along. We're still setting some stuff up, so some stuff will work, some stuff might not. But yeah, you can just do that and follow along. The latest video, the Monday's video, again, it's a very large upload, so I'm uploading it at work in the morning, so you should see yesterday's and today's. I'm gonna upload this one early. I'm gonna upload them both tomorrow. All right, raid. Let's see if I can type it in. Isaiah by Dea. I spelled that completely wrong. Man, this is Isaiah. See, I think the name Isaiah is always spelled funny in my mind. Dea. There we go. Dea. Okay, got it. Peace out, everyone. Have a great day. We have 6 more seconds together. 5 more seconds, 4 more seconds, 3 more seconds. I'm gonna miss you all. Until tomorrow or until next week. Peace out, everyone. Have a great night.